Hello and welcome to Mofun and Me. Actually not, but it's the TokuTonic shift. Now you're probably wondering why it's such a light panel. Well, Mark's got a work meeting. He'll be popping in after he's done with the work meeting. So he could really just show up sporadically. Kevin does not have a hold of Mark. But otherwise, it's just me and Ash here right now. So Ash, how are you this fine morning?
Exhausted, mentally drained from work, doing the 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. But I survived. I made it through, even though I played Diablo until 2 in the morning. I'm ready to talk about some Toku. We got a lot on the docket, I think, so there's going to be some fun stuff to talk about. Weird stuff too.
There is some weird stuff, especially since we got some toys I never in the light of day thought would actually be a thing. Like when I first saw these pop up, I thought they were a joke, but we'll get to that in the later half of this. But my God, Disney and Toei out here, well, Disney and Bandai more like out here cooking on something. And I'm just like, I'm gonna have to spend money. I'm gonna have to spend money. So yeah. Of course, we had the Mofun and Me showing up in King-Ohger this week. I'll go ahead and minimize that. That's going to be our little icon of the week for this week. Of course, it was an eventful week in general. Of course, for those of us in the US, we did have the second showing for Shin Kamen Rider again, and I made the long drive again. Finally got out my spoiler-filled review, which I got to tell you, my voice actually hurts from doing that review. Because, of course, for those of you that did not watch it, because, of course, you don't want to be spoiled, I pretty much did my own version of an honest trailers for that, but trying to get my voice to, like, that Don LaFontaine, like, in a world thing stressed me out so much in terms of, like, putting my voice through all that I literally needed to take a rest right after that. Like it was that stressful. I've never put in work when it comes to actual like vocals because of course like when I do my reviews and I talk like this, that's everyday talking for me.
Yeah.
But when I'm trying to do like an actual like trailer, I really tried to ham it up for that, and that was definitely a thing in general. But yeah, we won't go into Shin Kamen Rider in terms of spoiler discussions until it becomes readily available for everybody, so you don't have to worry about it. That'll be a topic for another day. I want to make sure that people overseas, because I do have a pretty sizable overseas community that doesn't have the capability of watching Shin Kamen Rider yet. So we wait until all that becomes a little bit more readily available until we're finally able to go and deep dive into it when it comes to that film. But for now, it's just our standard superhero time. But before getting into proper superhero time, I do want to talk quickly about the Punk Jack special. Because I finally saw it. Because there were too many people in my comments section going, like, what when gets explained in terms of coming back if you watch that. And I watched it and I was just like, well, that's a stupid explainer, but okay. Literally, it was just once Niram gets revived. Well, the thing is just like once Niram gets revived, like he just goes to the hospital and picks him up and it's just like, here, you wanna remember, or you wanna like keep forgetting what happened. Especially since he alludes to his grandfather being a great sponsor, but we still don't know what the fuck that man does. So I'm a little disappointed on that. But the Punk Jack special gave us a little bit more insight into Win's character arc, how everything was prior, getting like separating the band and then having a bandmate like get roped into the DGP, just because of course they really wanted to get the band back together again. It felt like I was watching the first quarter of Geats again in terms of the writing style, which I really enjoyed. Obviously, a lot of people enjoyed early Geats versus now, and it gave me more of that vibe. Not only that, but it also gave us a lot of background information when it comes to the DGP, how the brainwashing work. They don't just disappear. They literally just get taken out to a chamber and then they put some weird like head contraption on them and just wipe their memory. It's not an automated thing. There's literally steps. Then
and
there's
the
also
cleanup crew when there's a dead body.
Yeah, the cleanup crew that just shows up at the the tail end of everything as they take the taser to Ohsama to drag him out the sea, and I'm just like, wow, y'all really made it look like it was just a spectacle of it just like happens in terms of retiring.
Yeah.
It showed us all the different layers of it, and it kind of like cheapened, but also made the DGP a lot more entertaining for
Mhm.
me. Like just getting that information. What did you think about the special? I know you got out your review as well on it. I'm not gonna do a review on it, by the way, guys. But yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed it, like, I enjoyed seeing the behind the scenes for the, Grand Design Prix, like, I like seeing how the loot boxes came together and the cleanup crew and stuff like that. Wynn's backstory I enjoyed. There's, like, a little bit more to him. His story is, like, getting the band back together, the band broke up. His friend, like, his friend losing his memory where the ID cores have all those dreams, or the sparks they call them.
Mhm.
So, that explains, like, their dreams and why they don't become who they are, which is kind of like explained with Neon in a couple of episodes where she doesn't have that spark anymore when we see her before she gets her memories back in some episodes.
Mhm.
But I enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed it. I got a kick out of it. The Shinobi one I'm curious about because I've never seen what those riders are based off. I've looked up, but that should be fun to see. But the Punk Check special, I really enjoyed. I didn't think I'd enjoy it. I thought I was like, I'll watch it, see what it's like. But yeah, if you want to see like Wynn's backstory, then I highly recommend checking it out if you enjoy Punk Jack.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I also was going into it like, it's a Punk Jack special. I'm not really that hyped about seeing it anyway. But
Hmm.
they gave us a pretty good story and pretty good characterization for him. But I'm still like, it doesn't answer my questions of why they even are getting this man involved in the current iteration of
Yeah.
of the game. Because once again, like Suidu bringing back Niram just still kind of seems like why when all this man did was essentially going, but we'll get into that when we get into
Yeah.
the Geats episode. Did you get a chance to watch the Raculous Secrets too?
No, no. I'm
that
behind on the Raculous stuff
that also dropped, but I didn't like it as much as the first one, tell you that much.
because the subs take a while for the Raculous special to come out,
They
and this
actually
one came
dropped the
out
same
quicker.
day. They
Really?
dropped the
Okay,
same day.
that's
Yeah,
okay. I'll have to
because
check them out.
literally when the King-Ohger regular subs dropped, the Raculous special
Mm,
like dropped almost a
right.
couple minutes later. So it was almost instantaneous when it comes to that. So it was good. But even then, that special wasn't that great. The first one was way better than this one.
Mm.
Especially with some of the explainers that we have and some green screen shenanigan that
Will I
was
need? Well,
yeah.
sorry if I cut you off. Will I need to watch this special to jump into like future episodes or?
Currently, we don't know. We don't know what this is completely leading up to.
All
Um,
right then.
because then the next one is dated. I think it's July 7th that
Yeah.
that the third one is coming out, and I think that's the final one.
Yeah.
So they really like there's got to be something going on in the show at around that same time to properly like I feel would segue things into this because
Mm.
they're probably going to be like maybe knee deep into like the Raculous arc by then. Which of course your daily dose of Raculous is a dick. Because of
Mhm.
course we get some more of that when it comes to King-Ohger this week. But let's go ahead and get into this week's
Hero time! It starts now.
brought to you by Mofun and me. Okay, so of course we are starting off with Geats, which of course in the beginning, it's nice to know they repainted a whole boost suit for the sake of one single episode. I gotta ask Ash, you think this suit's coming back, or was this a one and done deal?
Maybe in specials, maybe in movies. Maybe if he has to use this form to lead into like Boost Mark 9, but judging by next week's episode preview, doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they well now the Raculous special is more timed than Outsiders graph because Outsiders we're getting like one episode every 3 months or something stupid like that. We
Mm.
don't even know. By this point in time, I feel Outsiders will be done in 2026. with this episode output. Hopefully, like once Takahashi's done with Geats, he can dedicate himself completely to Outsiders and whatever convoluted plot point he's trying to lead into with all of that. So yeah, we get Boost Mark III, which isn't really that much of a berserker form. It's just Ace being mad. Essentially, that's all it is. It's just Ace being mad and warping the fabric of space-time around him to try and make his way towards his mommy. But of course, like, once again, it kind of doesn't, like, there's no allusion to it in the show. Sueru doesn't specifically state why he's doing this, but why does he just dangle Mitsume, the goddess of creation, out in the physical world just to snatch her right back up into the other pocket dimension? When it's like he's purposely taunting him. It's like either he knows or he doesn't know what he's doing. He's soliciting Ace to get mad. It's just like, you are like cell levels of arrogance right now, my guy. You are completely leading to your downfall. So yeah, he does all that, but of course fails, knocks himself out, and has an inner monologue with this Fox guy, who spoiler alert, it's Ace. I know people were like, is it his daddy? No, it's Ace. it was just Ace. It's an inner monologue for real. Of course, having himself, kind of roasting himself, essentially, because he outright says, like, what have you done in these last 2,000 years? Nothing. You still failed. You still haven't talked to your mom. Like, it's terrible. You even got to her, but you still can't talk to her. So just all of that self-reflection going on in there. Here's Sarah about to henshin, and Kawa being thrown off by the fact that it was just a her skincare regimen. So yeah, of course we got to get them little gag side character things in currently, because of course it doesn't matter, because they're about to lose all of that character development yet again with this week's episode. So of course Niram is out to confront Suitor regarding his entire plans and motions and what he meant by that there's another goddess of creation in the oven. Of course, that's when Sama shows up, who we haven't seen in like 6-7 episodes, something like that. I think it was 32.
I forgot about this chick.
Yeah, and she just shows up and explains what we already knew, that Sumri was unlocking goddess of creation powers. And of course, when Niram doesn't like the fact that pretty much Sueru's messing with his reality, which, you know, once again, I'm like, come on now, the way the games have been going so far, and you still like are calling that this is a major like weak point for me. This week's episode is really Niram's entire heel turn for this, because I'm just like, this is so out of character for this guy.
It could have been built up a little bit more.
Yeah.
If they were planning this.
But once again, it also goes to show, why did Sueru bring this man back? What was the point of bringing him back? To shoot him again. They killed this man just to kill him again. They shoot him once he gets a little bit too confrontational. But then, it was a regular gun. I'm just like, they've got laser rays risers and all that kinds of pew-pew like future weaponry and all that. They use real gun. Real gun. Like, it's just like, okay, all right. So she just shoots him just to get that vision driver back. Once again, this is another issue that I have with this. If Sama's essentially got promoted to replace Niram, then shouldn't that have happened when he got eliminated the first time?
Yeah.
Because once again, he was not in possession of the vision driver, because they did technically get it back that episode, but they lost it right afterwards again. So it doesn't matter. When he got bubbled up, they could have just picked up that vision driver. So it doesn't make sense.
Please drop a special in explaining Niram's return.
Yeah, yes. I need the Niram side story, or a side story on Samas, in terms of like what they were really planning to do with her, because it's just it just seems so out of left field. Yep. So yeah, back to inner monologue, where of course Ace gets his true calling in terms of what he really wants is to destroy the world and bring it back in his image. And that's it. That's all he wants to do. And of course, that unlocks waking up mode and Jane out here to welcome this man up with breakfast. But it's not enough because Ace needs to make a quick trip. He's going inside his mom.
Ooh.
So yeah, this is the thing. It's what people don't realize is, yes, where Ace disappeared to was literally inside the statue of the goddess of creation. So he literally teleported to the inside of his mom. Yes, that's exactly where this happens. So as the cracks, of course, start forming around, it's literally because the goddess of creation statue is cracking. So yeah, he finally gets to meet his mom, and it's a very awkward instance because she doesn't talk. She talks to him mentally. She does the mental projection to him. And I'm just like, why? Like I looked up the voice actress that they had over here. Like she's in her like late 30s. She doesn't look bad. You could just slap a wig on that and you'd be all right. But I guess they want to elevate the stock of this up and coming actress. So
yeah,
we had all that plus
apparently she's like younger than Ace's actor.
She's 18.
Oh, I could see, like someone said, like someone chat the braces. Yeah, I could see when the braces when they did the lip syncing.
Yeah,
like I had to rewind it sometimes.
The first time I watched it, I just saw like since she left her mouth like agape, and I was like, why she got braces on? A retainer? What is that? Like this is weird. Y'all future people, like y'all shouldn't have this. Like y'all should have perfect dental like structure because in the future, like you guys constructed these bodies. Like who just said put some braces on that? And how is that historically accurate considering that they went back to like 1 AD when she met Ace's dad? They didn't have braces back then. That would have like just raised so many questions from folks going like, what's that in your mouth? Because we even show when they like show the footage of the DGP in the before times, didn't even use rider suits because they were legit just doing like bare knuckle brawling with swords and shit. And so it's like in terms of like wowing them out with technology, that wasn't really a thing. So yeah, it also kind of makes me wonder since we saw Ace Garfield throw on the Desire Driver in that one flashback, if the riders' suits are designed with what it would be in theme for the era.
Yeah.
To not break the immersion of the time, meaning that we probably would have had some nice steampunky looking writers back during Ace Garfield's time. But that's beyond the point. We got a Subaru here about to transform into the biggest disappointment I have had almost all episode. He becomes Gazer with red shit on his. Literally, this is the man who is running the show. Gazer.
He's gonna have a new power up later down the line. I like if he's just gonna be like Gazer like 3.0 because Bebera like had a different like sort of like LED light up when she had on the suit as well. So like not like I was expecting something new, but when he put on the Vision Driver, I was like, okay. But he's probably gonna have a new form near the finale if they're building the Skype to be the final villain.
Someone said I'm sad they didn't call him Gazer 2. That would have made me more mad if they made him Gazer 2 because this guy should be the original. If anything, it should have been Gazer 0. But look, the thing is just like they should have given him like a new form or at least like another palette swap. They could have inverted the gold and white accents on it. Something. But they didn't even give us that. And of course, if they just gave us a new henshin jingle and things like that, repurpose the Vision Driver, make a Memorial Edition Vision Driver that has the new light ups and sounds, slap an extra $50 on it, and I probably would have bought it. Probably would have bought it for that same thing. Or if they even like recolored the Vision Driver and all that stuff. And
Mm.
so it's just like there's a lot of inconsistencies going on with this show, because another issue that I have with him like having this driver is the fact that we saw previously when he started the Desire Royale, he was able to reshape the world without the use of a vision driver,
Yeah.
showing that he already had the innate ability. But it's like, did they forget that they did that? Like, I don't know. There's so many inconsistencies with this show, man. So as he transforms, he literally pulls the curtains over the planet, and I'm just like, wow, they really did a physical curtain call on the entire Earth. Okay, all right, they doing it. Back to mommy issues. Because of course the entire thing is a giant back and forth between Ace and his mom regarding the entire situation of, I told you to forget about me, and it's just like, couldn't help it, I kept remembering. And not only did I keep remembering, I kept finding this damn coin that apparently he got from his dad. That's all we get of dad, is just the coin. That's it.
Give me a coin.
So I don't know if they're going to end up trying to give us some more information on his dad in the future, or if his parent plot line is now completely done after this, and it's just Ace going forward. So yeah. Lifetime child support. You're right. That Roman coin, he could probably pawn it, like get a lot of, but he's got a lot of money already. He's the star of the stars of the stars of the stars, and now he's Jesus. So it's just like he's already got too much. He's got OP hacks. So yeah, all this as the actual goddess statue starts cracking completely, destroying the world around them. So of course they got to say their goodbyes. But of course, here's a scene I did not include in my review because I thought it was, there's no real point to mention it, but it was Kyun trying to get Neon to remember, even though, of course, like she lost her spark, so she's not going to remember anything. And of course, the curtain's falling. So once again, it doesn't matter anyway. She was going to lose her driver. Here's an ass shot of Kawa about to transform, but lost that driver. Everyone's just losing their drivers. And finally, the goddess of creation splits up into a bunch of little rocks. And thus you start the Triforce quest from the Wind Waker, trying to piece them all together again. So Ace is back, and here's Niram now admitting that he would have liked to see Ace's story just a little bit more as he dies from his gunshot wounds. And disappears. Disappears.
Did you get de-digitized?
God. It was a thing, these gun effects. And of course, as everybody is exiting into that little wormhole out of the DGP, we get Kyun and Jean exiting, but of course no Beroba and Kekera, because we know they're going to stay behind and cause some mischief.
Yep.
So curtain calls, but Ace is here, splitting that buckle and transforming into Geats 9 with that terrible. I still don't like this weapon. Like, I'm not a fan of this weapon. I like the way that he fought using it, but not a fan of this weapon. But I really enjoyed a lot of the fighting going on with this, because of course he's destroying buildings, reconstructing them, using those abilities in this consistent fight. The fight alone, like, just elevated this episode for me, because it was pretty much swimming in like D's for me until this fight happened. And I was just like, you know what? This fight saved it. Like, him just stopping the OST from playing, getting that terrible gun to change into a sword, and just like the amount of disrespect that he just gave to Sueru, like literally breaking the ground and reforming him, sticking it to him while he's in the ground. I was just like, that is disrespectful, and I absolutely love it. Then of course it's like we've got all these walls, because you know we've seen up till now, especially while he was fighting Niram, that Ace just couldn't get through those 4 walls, but now he does with his sword and kicks the shit out of Sueru in the process. But then he's fine, because he just projects himself, grabs the vision driver, and exits out of there.
Leaves. See you in 10 episodes.
Yep. And that's it for this week's Geats. How did you, like, am I in the same process here? Because that's the thing. It's like I felt that this episode was just there was so much buildup to him finally seeing his mom, and it felt very awkward with the way that they filmed it. And the way that they just had her project her voice was a little bit
Mhm.
awkward in a way. Of course, the whole Nerum like heel turn and getting just
Yeah.
shot again. It just seemed like it wasn't a good episode until that fight. Like that fight
Yeah.
alone made me go, you know what? I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind if they did like a Kamen Rider that was like Red Man, where
Mhm.
if you don't know Red Man, he literally just goes up to a monster and beats the shit out of that monster. And that's it. That's all. That's the entire premise of the show. It's 15 minutes of ass whooping. So if they literally did a Kamen Rider where it was just like whoever's doing the action choreography for Geats and they just give them an action Kamen Rider, it's just like there's no plot. It's just fights. It's like I'm your guy. And they just do that. I'd watch the fuck out of that. But otherwise, this fight was great. The episode itself,
Yeah.
but the fight elevated it for me. What did you think?
Yeah, the fight was cool. Fight was really great. Like disappointing to see Niram go because I feel like they brought him back and now he's gone already. But I feel like after the whole Jamato Grand Prix, Niram basically took a back seat and was just in the background for the longest time until he left the show and then got revived. So it sucks to see him go. Did he get flowers? I don't know if he got flowers.
I think so. I haven't seen the images myself, but someone said that he
Yeah.
did get flowers. So he's
So
probably
he could be
donezo.
gone. Yeah, Dunzo. Um, they like maybe they did a special with him, like Punk Jack. I don't know. That would be cool. He got flowers. Okay, yeah, he's Dunzo. He ain't
Yep.
coming back probably. But like I kind of like the heel turn for his like assistant was out of nowhere. Like you said, like she should have if he was dead, then she should have already taken over the role. Um, but the fight scene was pretty cool, but no idea where the show's gonna go from here because Sarah like seems to be doing his own thing. We had the Gates and Mummy reunion. I feel like if Gates has the power to sort of like revive and reverse stuff, then maybe there can be a fix for that to have like a proper happy ending for him. Possibly. I don't know how I'd feel about that if they do that. But we just I feel like I say this every week. I'm Gates fatigued. I don't know where the show's going. Like there's some parts I enjoy, some parts I don't, but I feel like because we're only like 10 episodes left, I'm wondering how they're going to wrap this up and are they going to fumble the ball? It feels like they're fumbling it halfway through while doing some cool stuff in the end.
Yeah, that's really where I'm getting the feeling of, and of course, like Reiwa kind of has been going through this trend in a way where I really feel like they just don't have a game
Mhm.
plan for how they're gonna end things, and it might end up being a detriment later on. It really just depends if the summer movie ends up being like actual plot relevant to the show
Yeah.
or ends up being like a true end
Mhm.
to this show, or if it just ends up being another like side story thing
Yeah.
in general. But I really god it just sucks because of course this show was so great out the gate, but now it's just
Mhm.
like it, I'm just ready to like just move on from it in a way. Like just show me how this thing's gonna end, if it's gonna be great or not, because we keep having these consistent resets and we just got it again. Now that
Mhm.
everybody's lost their drivers again, like Ozma's back to square one, Kay was back to square one,
Well,
Neon's
Neo's
been
been
back to
scoring.
square one. It's just like Ace is the only one who still consistently gets to
Yeah.
like just come back. And the real issue that I have is like we keep having these episodes in which they get rid of Ace. they
Mhm.
they really needed to do that early on and have him stay gone for at least a couple of episodes
Yeah.
because they keep trying to like shoehorn in plot lines for these other characters to develop them, and then they don't pay them off. And
Mm.
that's what the issue ends up being for me. It's just like you keep propping up Kawa, nothing. You
Yeah.
had these like buffa hacks and now they're gone, which is another thing that I'm confused about because technically like ending the DGP undid his wish, but it
Mhm.
shouldn't have because like the wishes should be withstanding, because as we see, Beroba and Kekera are in the preview, meaning that they survived, the closure of the DGP when it was stated that they shouldn't, like they would disappear if they don't make it through that gate. But they're there, so their wish stuck. So did they forget that? I don't know. It's once again, it's the confusion parts about this.
Hopefully it'll get explained next week. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, so we'll see on that. Of course, next week we've got this whole new arc now with Ace's new revitalized world. Yeah, the new character played by a former Forze monster of the week. So we've got all that going on, but it's just like these recyclings of the DGPs is like we're speed running through Ryuki like 50 times in this show, and it's like Ryuki worked because it was the long game. Like you watched it all to see how this one game would end, and then they did all these side specials to give you other versions of those games. But for this one, it's just like there's too much going on. So
yeah.
But yeah, let's see here. I did ask the chat what you would rate this episode without including that fight, because for a lot of folks that fight was the sticking point, and we've got a C.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, I can't like disagree. I completely agree with that rating, and I should have done this. Hold on. We did get a few folks actually, like second place was actually an A, so people actually did enjoy this episode without the fight. Why? I did have some people in my comment section saying that you just have to turn off your brain and you'll like the show more. But I'm just like, sorry, but when the show sets itself up to be serious from the get-go, I'm gonna take it seriously.
Yeah.
It's not like King-Ohger where it's like my fear was that it was also going to take itself seriously, but from the first episode they were like, nah, we gonna be like serious but also have some goofy gags up in here as well. That just first episodes normally set the tone for how you're supposed to treat these shows.
Yeah,
like Down Brothers first episode, you're like, I have no idea what's going on, and then you realize, oh, I'm supposed to be having a fever dream right now. That's all this show's gonna end up being, is a giant fever dream. So get the prescription drugs ready, because here we go. So yeah. Anything you'd like to add on when it comes to Geats before we move on to King-Ohger?
Not really.
Great, neither do I. So let me get these screens. God, there's so many. Oh, there we go. All right, so on this week's King-Ohger, we've got Jeremy, after getting the nice little setup of taking all of those Ohja calibers away from the other kings, just to have Himeno strike. And that was quick. Like, we thought there was going to be a whole ass thing. Nah, she knocks the Ohja calibers right out that man. Right away. She's just big mad energy. So all of that is just going on right now. Reason why is because she thinks he's behind the whole fury of the gods, because one of the shoe gods that he controls is the cicada. So she's like putting two and two together. And it's funny because, of course, we had this conversation back when we first saw the toys, where people were like, doesn't that look a lot like the fury of the gods like things? And and that's literally what they ended up playing up to with this show. So it's hilarious that's how they managed to shoehorn all that stuff in there. So yeah, they think that it is related to all that, and of course we get a little bit more seed plants regarding that in the actual episodes. So yeah. So of course, with Himeno big mad, she just asks Jeremy for the answers, and you know what Jeremy's answers are? Well, you got to look between the lines, which of course is not the right way you should answer when someone's pointing their weapon at you. You're just You're just asking for those hands. So, yeah, she gives him lines of her own and just beats the mess out of him. Typically when we get a 6 Sentai, they show up and they're usually OP as all hell. And we got that with Jeremy last week. But the fact that Himeno, just being mad, was able to best this man after getting bodied last week just speaks volumes in a way. But also, you got to factor in that Jeremy was also big mad last week because they messed with his mama's toy. So it's not about that. So out comes Himeno just dishing out that L. When Sebastian shows up. But there's 2 of them.
There's 2.
There's 2 of them. It turns out that other one was that very important Bugnarok, who's now essentially Jeremy's retainer / assistant now. So hey, that whole suit is now getting a proper meaning for why they spent so much time on it. Because he's out here defending his mans, giving Jeremy enough time to fake out and dip out. So we're now back to this regularly scheduled episode of Geki Ranger in my King-Ohger, because that's definitely the vibes that I got of this week's Monster of the Week. Definitely giving those Rinjuken Akugata vibes. Sparring with Death Narak. Turns out that this guy, I guess, was Death Narak's martial arts teacher way back in the day. And he's sent out with the fact of trying to capture God Tarantula, because now the entire thing is, well, they're tired of chasing down Gira, whatever, but there's now a shoe god that can control the other shoe god. Yeah. So they need that. That's the only thing the Bugnarok are concerned about. They want the shoe gods in some way, shape, or form. Gira can talk to them, so it makes sense why they need them. But now they see that there's another shoe god that can control them, so of course they want that as well. Any way, shape, or form that they can control those shoe gods, they want them. So here's a back shot of Himeno I included just for the sake of including. And now...
Wait for it. No, Mark. I thought it'd be...
Man, if Mark suddenly showed up during that shot, that would have been that would have
been peak.
Hold on, let's see. Let's pray to the Mark gods and see if he's going to show up. Come on now, everybody put your hands... we must see if we can summon Mark out of nowhere with this back shot of Himeno. And I'll just do my own thing with that. Nope, no Mark. Damn, that sucks. Oh, man. No Mark at all. It'd be funny if he just doesn't even show up. He said he was going to be late, but I'm just like, watch this man just not even show up. Man. Well, anyway, back to King-Ohger, because of course they captured back all of those Ohja calibers, so they're back in distribution. I wonder if everyone knows which Ohja caliber is theirs, or if it doesn't really matter, because I was just like, they're just picking up the one that's on top. They're not being like, oh, that's mine because I put my little symbol on here. No, none of that. But so yeah, in terms of all that, she's of course trying to tell everybody that he's behind the fury of the gods, and she's going to need Gira's help to at least find Scorpy so they can get him back. But Gira's like, you know what? I might not help you out because you're kind of being a little bit of a bit. So of course they go ahead and just snatch him up. So where was Jeremy this entire time? Well, he had, I guess, teleported to Gokon from... Where was he at?
Yeah, that's the bit. That was weird how he got all the way there.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't understand how you teleport like that and why you haven't done that before. But yeah, he's all the way in Gokon, a whole nother continent.
That's nuts.
Yeah. So, of course, he's put on trial because of the allegations of him being behind the fury of the gods. So, of course, when Rita is here to cast judgment on Jeremy regarding his involvement on it, he tells the exact same answers. That, of course, you got to look between the lines. And, of course, that doesn't work. So, back to Gira with Himeno. So essentially, in trying to communicate with Scorpy, Gira says that they wanted to go with the god Tarantula. It was their choice. They weren't being controlled. But Himeno thinks, no, they got to be controlled. There's no other way. They got to be controlled. Completely just jumping to conclusions. But that's not the entire thing. Is they really just wanted to chill with God Tarantula.
Spider Buddy.
So, what turns out to be the case when it comes to what Jeremy was doing during the Fury of the Gods was that he was taking a big old nap. A nap so deep that apparently people thought that he was just a mummy. So much so that they put him on display for everyone to see. Look at the realistic mummy. This is the most well-preserved mummy ever found. Of course, he's a little bit embarrassed by that, but of course, who just takes a nap like that and stays in that like position the entire time? But he found a way. He found a way. So of course, that ends up being the entire thing, is that he was just asleep regarding it. So what is the real situation regarding his instances with the Fury of the Gods? Obviously none. But then when it comes to Rita, she's like, you kind of did this to yourself because you failed to answer Himeno's questions. You kind of put the entire target on your back. If you had just told us that you were asleep, like, maybe we would have believed you. Maybe. And then Rita starts explaining a little bit more about Himeno's backstory in terms about losing her parents during the Fury of the Gods, becoming a queen at a young age, and having to bear all that responsibility. So, of course, when Monster of the Week strikes, we see that Himeno is out here throwing hands because Gira definitely couldn't. Here's another really great sassy shot of Himeno. Mark, nope. Damn. I put these shots in for him. And he's not even here to appreciate all this sass. Let me get my second drink. We're gonna try this again. We're gonna try this again. See if we can summon Mark. No, still, damn. Trying to summon Mark is not. Maybe Kevin did get Mark. We just don't know. So yeah, the others go back to confront Himeno about her jumping to conclusions consistently because, of course, she's just being big mad this entire episode. But of course, Yanma's got a plan. He's just going to go ahead and interrupt the broadcast of Mofun and me in order to put out the bounty over. Here's another shot I threw in just for Mark. I'm throwing in all these shots for Mark. He's not here to appreciate them. He's not here to appreciate them. So yeah, Yama interrupts the broadcast when it comes to Mofun and me to go ahead and just say, hey, whoever finds Jeremy, bring him to your queen because she's got some questions to ask him. So the Boski's like, and yeah, you get a prize. It can be anything you want. Anything. So of course his girl's like, oh, anything. So she goes and dips out to try and get him with her working legs at that, because of course she was lying about being in that wheelchair during episode 3.
I didn't know it was that same.
Yeah, it's the same girl. You even see the wheelchair in the back of the room as well.
It's been so long, I kind of forgot about them.
Yep, they're making use out of the citizens in the channel. So I mean, in the show. So yeah. So yeah, Rita shows up to explain that, yeah, Jeremy was just asleep that entire time. And Himeno's like, oh, you don't got to lie to me like that. Because, of course, she's just jumping to conclusions. She just really wants to know in terms of, she wants it to be the way that she believes it to be and doesn't want the answers, like, spread out like that when it's not the proper answers. So, of course, they explain Mofun and me. There you go. This is really, I got the icon. Yeah. So Mofun and Me was actually a cartoon made specifically for Himeno to watch as a child, just to give her a little bit of happiness back into her life And hey, it seems to have worked. And the way that Rita's telling it makes me think that Rita probably had a similar experience. Since, of course, they still haven't given us shit on Rita's backstory too much. But I'm thinking that it was probably a similar situation when it comes to that. Now,
Rita did have an interesting line when Jeremy was on trial, saying that most of us were unexpectedly thrown into this position to be kings.
Yep. Yeah. After the Fury of the Gods, they all kind of like leapt into the positions that they're currently at. But speaking of Mofu and me real quick, didn't you mention that this was gonna, like, before we went live, that this is gonna get an actual...
I don't know where I saw that. I saw it in like Twitter, perfect source, but I think they're doing like a little like special, kind of like the Kamen Rider anime they do, because it's in that same style of like animation.
Yeah, it's like cheap Flash animation and all that.
Yeah. So like they'll probably do,
I said, I would completely enjoy it if they just made an entire side special where it's just like Rita watching this cartoon, like in their jammies or something, completely like out of character, but just completely being engrossed in the show. I would completely watch that.
Same.
Look, Graph, I likely wouldn't review it, but then I might, just out of spite. Just out of spite, I might review it. Now, the amount of like videos I've been like pumping out these last couple of weeks, like out of schedule, has definitely put a strain on me. But hey, I do it for the funds. Oh yeah, so speaking of Wheelchair Girl, she finds Jeremy. He was just right there the whole time. Easy peasy. He was just chilling right in the backdrop. So yeah. So of course Himeno confronts him about like, so you're saying you're not responsible for the Fury of the Gods. He's like, yeah, nope. I was definitely asleep. Here's a sad Jeremy. Appreciate sad Jeremy. Look at those eyes, sad Jeremy. And it's just like, fine. Okay, cool. But of course, that's when Rinjuken Akugata shows up again, this time larger than ever. And it's time for Jeremy to summon the Greater Shoe Gods, each getting piloted. Now, I had kind of forgotten in my first watch that he had snatched up all of the cores for the Greater Shoe Gods last episode, because I was like, wait, when did he get the Bato one back? Oh yeah, when he took the swords from everybody else is when he took the one from Kamajim. So yeah, he's got full control over the Greater Shoe Gods now because they've got their cores in place and he's got them. But of course, this was just a pretty standard fare like CG fight going on. It was all right, not the most amazing fight that this show has had, but it was definitely a moment. So of course, what's a wheelchair girl that can walk again? Wish for nothing. Nothing, because they got it so good in Ishibane, even though the bugs attack from time to time, they got it so good over there that she just can't think of a single thing to wish for. I mean, I can think of a few things, but it's just like, damn. Well,
Mark could too.
Yeah, Mark definitely could. Mark, what's your wish? Mark, what would you ask of him? No. This man's never showing up. Oh my god. So of course, oh my god!
What?
Speaking of Mark,
oh, we summoned him.
We summoned Mark. He's finally here and frozen. He's so frozen. Oh, there he goes.
There we go.
Mark, we've tried summoning you like 3 times.
Did you do it properly? Did you say the incantations right?
We had the photos of Himeno.
Yeah.
That's the disturbance in the force I was feeling.
There was massive like Himeno like sass going on.
I literally stopped and I was like, something cool is going on. And I was like, damn, I'm missing out.
Hold on, before finishing this episode, we're gonna do the Himeno cut of this episode real fast. So real quick, working back down the timeline, what would you have asked of Himeno if you caught Jeremy for her?
YouTube has what is YouTube's TOS right now?
I don't know, something.
Not gonna say it then. Not gonna say it then.
Can you use a euphemism for it?
Remember how Family Guy does those weird cuts and jump cuts to random things? Remember when they had the train just destroying the road?
Isn't that Drawn Together, not Family Guy?
Oh my god. The train trying to go through that tiny tunnel and then just wrecking it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say that, like, one cutaway where they had the Rock with the figures just slamming them together.
Yeah. That's a good one.
So here's another shot. We get a big mad Himeno.
I'm already like saving all the different images of the wigs. I'm gonna do like a whole ranking video of just the wigs.
Sassy Himeno.
There's a little pout in there too. I'm like, oh.
Yep. And she does that stomp walk too in the scene, like where she's just like aggressively stomping in heels in the grass. She's still doing it. She's killing it.
That's why she's like the best on the show.
And then dump truck scene.
I mean, and elbows. I'm like, wow.
So yeah. All right. So that was the quick Himeno cut of this week's King-Ohger.
Should take all the episodes. I'm just gonna make a whole Himeno cut when the season's over.
It's King-Ohger, but just the scenes of Himeno.
Yeah.
It cuts away the second that you see another character.
Yeah. No one's gonna understand the story, but it's gonna be like complete perfect cinema.
It kind of reminds me of like, I don't know if you guys have seen the video on YouTube where it's like every Kamen Rider opening, but it cuts as soon as the writer shows up on screen.
Yeah.
That video has no reason being as funny as it is.
I haven't watched that in a while. I gotta watch that again.
Yeah, like that video has no reason being so funny, but after a while, I just died laughing from like all the cuts. All right, so back to the end of King-Ohger, where we get back to deepest lore, where, of course, Dabowski is explaining to Raculus that, of course, they need Jeremy on their side because Jeremy has so much control over these shoe gods. But then he asks, is his sister okay? And then Raculus is like, you wanna see her? And he's like, no, I've kind of like steeled myself away from having to see her. Then we get a quick shot of his actual sister already. They're already doing the payoff to it. And that seems to be the focus of next week's episode. But overall, I thought that this episode in general was it was an all right episode.
Yeah.
Not like as great as the previous episodes have been. I mean, we did get a lot more Himeno focus yet again. But at the same time, it just seems like we kind of like just went through the motions again because a lot of these episodes now, at least for Jeremy's arc, kind of feel like we're doing a retread on what happened with Gira, just with Jeremy now, in a way. But of course, this is his second trial as well. And yeah, so we get a lot of that. But Mark, since you just joined us, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I like it. I knew the wave and the momentum couldn't stay the same for like, and there has to be that kind of like where everything kind of slows down and isn't like something massive and like that we're all going to be able to talk about isn't going to happen every week. So I kind of knew, and I'm kind of like, we have, like you just said, we're retelling Gira, but for Jeremy, and I'm okay with that because I like Jeremy as a character, and I'm curious about stuff. The whole Dabowski system with the sister was shown. I was like, oh, well, at least I know Himeno's still number one. So
yeah, didn't move the needle for me.
No.
So,
but yeah, it was a good episode.
Yeah, it was all right. It's not like a big shaker on that. But Ash, what did you think?
Yeah, like this episode was okay. I don't want to call it a filler episode because we had some character development in there, but this was like what you guys have been saying. Like it kind of slowed the track down with everything going on because it's just been Jeremy stuff, like the Gira stuff. It's like been non-stop like action and plot for the past couple of episodes, and this was sort of like a good sort of slowdown, but it wasn't a terrible episode. Had some good stuff in there, but then it looks like next week it's going to pick right back up. So I'm cool with that. Like, it was an okay episode.
Well, the thing that I didn't like was, of course, that the preview for this episode made it seem like we were going to get a lot more on the Fear of the Gods, and
Yeah,
we didn't get a lot
Yeah.
on the Fear of the Gods. So it kind of like set me up for like false expectations, and that's why looking at the preview for next week, it looks like next week's going to be packed when it comes to stuff. But I'm just like, what if it's another fake out again? What if they say that they're going to give us a lot, but then they just give us a little?
Yeah.
Also, for me, it was kind of tough. Like, not even though Geats was really, really freaking good. On top of this being an okay episode, Shin Kamen Rider kind of was like my Toku thing. So it was like everything else. Like, oh yeah, no, there's Geats and King-Ohger this week, isn't there? Or there's a second showing for Shin Kamen Rider. I'm like,
Yeah, definitely.
I haven't done my King-Ohger video yet.
Yeah, that's the reason why my King-Ohger video came out yesterday, because I was just like, I gotta do my Shin Kamen Rider video, and I gotta get it out. But I'll talk to you real quick about that after we're done talking about this, just to ask about your second viewing experience. I did watch your video, but of course, just to have it within the context of here afterwards. But yeah, the thing about the preview that I'm really wondering now is the preview sets up that, of course, Raculus is going to meet Death Narak in the actual Bugnarok base from the setup.
Oh,
but then
yeah.
the text shows that the bargaining chip is the Boski's sister. And I'm just like, the only thing up until now that the Bugnarok have wanted is some sort of way to communicate with the Shoe Gods. Because remember, like I said before, they wanted Gira for his ability to talk to him. They want God Tarantula for its ability to control them. So I'm thinking the Boski's sister has to have some sort of innate ability that's not being explained yet. And my thought process when I did my review was, Tofu's symbol is, of course, the bee. And what are bees known for? For having a hive with a queen bee leading the entire thing. And with her technically being like regent queen, but not really. Like, you know, if something happens to the Boski, she would become queen type thing for the country. Maybe she has some sort of ability that the Boski lacks or something like that in terms of correlation with Shoe Gods. That might be the only way that she would end up being a bargaining chip for it. And of course, there's some people that were like, well, if that's the case, why hasn't Raculus made use of her yet? And I'm like, well, maybe he can't make use of her because the only one that probably can would just be like the Boski or something like that, which is why he wouldn't want her in the hands of the Boski, because that would make him a bigger power than him. And we know Raculus is a dick, and he doesn't want anybody to have more power than him. So of course he's got those bargaining chips. So it's just like all that. Graf asked, is she the goddess of creation? It'd be funny if King-Ohger did another fucking topic that Geats is doing, but better than Geats. So I don't know. That's my 2 cents on the speculation train until we actually get to Sunday's episode. So what do you all think is like the real correlation between the Boski sisters, Suzume, versus like this whole contract in terms of trying to negotiate with the Bugnarok?
I don't know. I think honestly, it's more of a trap for Gira, because I mean, I think, you know, Gira's, you know, always wants to say it. Like it's like, oh, the maiden in distress, Gira will go save her, type of deal. And then now they have Gira.
Yeah.
And you threw me off when you asked me what bees do, because I was still thinking about him, and I was thinking about pollinating. So I was like, oh, and then I was like, no, wait. Bees in the hive thing, yeah. And then I was thinking about honeycombs, and I was like, oh, sticky. So I'm like, nope, wait, TOS. I'm like, son of a bitch. Like the whole domino effect.
Got your hands in the weed. You gotta think about Redacted from Shin Kamen Rider.
Oh yeah.
Who I just realized was the main chick from Shin Ultraman as well.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that until I was like doing my review.
Yeah.
I was just like, since we only see like part of Redacted's face.
I only knew because I looked it up after, because obviously I was like, all right, where's the photo book?
So yeah. So Ash, any thoughts, queries regarding like Suzume in terms of what?
It's hard to say. She could have powers, but then Raculus is a big dick, so he could have kidnapped her for the sake of being a big dick.
That's true.
But I want to find out like his motives, like why he did that, because it's probably, like you guys said, to keep Dabowski in check, because Dabowski's like the second smartest one, sort of, when it comes to the kingdoms. Yama's pretty smart, but he's a goofball. But he's probably just doing his big power play to sort of keep Dabowski in check. So that's why Dabowski is sort of doing the sort of what's what I'm looking for, double agent thing.
Yeah, he's playing all sides.
Yeah, to get like make sure his sister's okay.
Yeah, and hopefully we actually do end up getting some proper Dabowski backstory next week, because that's the entire thing. Like, we are lacking substantial information regarding this man, and at this point I'm like, my curiosity's peaked, because right now we know more about Jeremy than we know about Dabowski, and I'm just like, it's another like it's another Don Brothers scenario where when we got Jiro, we knew way more about Jiro than we knew about Tsubasa. Once again, we know way more about the Sixth than we know about the Black Ranger. It's the same exact thing that they're doing here with King-Ohger. So it's hilarious. Hopefully it just doesn't go as long as the entire like Tsubasa arc did in Don Brothers, because that thing played out until like the near finale.
Yeah.
Okay, because every week we're like, oh, is this it? Is this it? And then no. But at least Dabowski's got those little seed plants that we got going on and all that stuff. But looking forward to this upcoming King-Ohger episode. Hopefully it does,
deliver.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, there's a possibility Dabowski could outsmart Hercules, because like he is sly and like I wouldn't be opposed to that either. Like maybe him just being like, no, I don't want to see my sister and this and that, and he's already got plans in motion, because he's proven to be adept and able to play both sides nearly perfectly. I feel like it wouldn't
Like
be
out of,
it wouldn't be out of his character to like maybe pull one over on him.
Yeah, it would be funny if maybe he's got his sister in on the act, and at the end it's just like, oh no, we were playing you the whole time, homie.
He goes to the prison cell, it's just Dabowski to wig, like, oh, you thought my sister was still down here? Just takes the wig off. He's like, nope.
It'd be crazy if he did that. All right, so moving on real quick. Mark, you also saw Shin Kamen Rider for the second time as well. Of course, we're not going to go into spoilers. I said that in the beginning of the chat. We are going to go in depth into Shin Kamen Rider once it's readily available for everybody to get their hands on. Yes, available.
That's why I don't have a spoiler version of the video out, because I was like, I'm just gonna give my thoughts on not the film just itself, but like overall what this means from like as a Toku fan, as a Kamen Rider fan, in the second viewing. I didn't even go like I saw your video, like you even told us before I would take notes, this and that. Not me. Went in, just wanted to just digest it and watch it, because that's what I did with Ultraman. I saw the first day subbed, then dubbed, and watching it dubbed was like so much better, because like I didn't have to like read it, I could just absorb everything.
Let me tell you that like trying to take notes in a very dark theater was the hardest. I literally was just writing shit down, and then once I got home and I looked at my notepad, I'm just like, I can't read shit, Captain. Like,
just looks like a game of Hangman.
It's literally like, oh my god, you can't even see.
The
lights. But yeah, it's hey, at least I stayed within the lines on some things, but it's literally like all over the map. Oh, this one's the worst, because I literally I guess I forgot to change papers, and I wrote 2 sets of notes over each other.
Oh, geez.
So yeah, it was that bad. But it was just like once certain things played out, I was just like, oh yeah, I got to take a note of that. But the thing is, like, the way that my mind works, I don't even have to read my notes. It's just that the habit of actually writing it makes me remember it more, because I put thought to paper. So it helped me out a lot more in terms of doing my spoiler review, which like all the footage that I gathered from that were from the trailers, which was the hardest thing to do, was piecing together like clips from the trailers on there. By the way, if y'all are trying to avoid spoilers, don't watch any trailers, because once I started watching every single trailer, I was like, oh my god, they spoil so much.
I was watching them back after, and I was like, I'm glad I watched the initial teaser, and I didn't watch the 20-minute one that got dropped, which is the first beginning. And I would be that way. Like, I'm not watching this. Like, I'm glad I didn't, because then what am I gonna do for the first 20 minutes? Oh, it's the same thing I saw, but on a bigger screen.
But
but I liked them more. Honestly, I think like I've now seen Shin Godzilla, Ultraman, and Kamen Rider in theaters. Like,
Nice.
and if you told me when Shin Godzilla was out, which by the way, anyone who's talking about like, oh, Kamen Rider's gonna make all this money and Ultraman made, you know, almost 700,000, people don't realize Godzilla was in theaters for almost 2 weeks. Like Shin Godzilla got a long run because it was Funimation that was distributing it. But I kind of wish this had more than the 2 days, because would I go see it a third time? Yes, but I think I went and I watched a lot of people's videos on it. I saw very polarizing. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of like at the end of the day, like I don't think they understand how this cut. Just like Ultraman, not spoiling. You're taking multiple story arcs from multiple episodes, and I even said,
cramming them. Yeah.
And if they did, and I like the pacing, I'm not going to spoil it. If they did the Zack Snyder approach for Justice League, where it was like chapter 1, then chapter 2, and the set we just had a black screen that was like chapter 1, such and such, chapter 2, such and such, and it was in between all the different set, like to break up like the change of pace so often, it would have, I think, a lot more people would enjoy it.
Even I'll sorry to cut you off. Even with the Shin Evangelion movies or Rebuild Evangelion movies, they do like the eye catcher halfway through the movie.
Yeah, and I still can't believe that thing is like 4 movies total.
I know.
All easily and readily available on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, the thing is, it does help watching this a second time, because that's the reason why I didn't want to do my review after just watching it the first time, because you know there are some bits that feel a little bit like out of nowhere, but when you watch it that second time, already knowing the plot is just like, oh no, they seed plant so much already. Like you just have to properly pay attention to things, and that's why I did enjoy it more on my second time. In terms of watching it, just because I'm like, oh no, they laid it out here. There was no assholes or anything like that. They literally like set all these events in motion. So when they say like there's a plan, there is a plan type deal when it comes to this. And just cutting that review of it was pretty rough on my voice, because for those that watched it, I tried doing the entire movie trailer Don LaFontaine, and that hurt so much. That's the first time I've done voice acting in a way. And it
was good. I liked it. I was like a little bit of that, little Mystery Science Theater in there. I was like, this is enjoyable. And then for me, second viewing, I didn't want to go and be critical. I didn't want to nitpick it. I just wanted to so I didn't even care. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna watch it. And I actually read the prequel manga.
I did not.
And it's still ongoing, so it's not even done.
Oh, apparently, the manga is worth seeing if you want to understand character. Worth reading if you want to understand character motivations.
Volume 2, I think, just wrapped up with chapter 17 or 18, and it's still ongoing. And
that's a lot of chapters so far.
Yeah, and it's really good because you're getting some Hongo backstory, a little bit of everything. And I'm just like, man, and the fact that Anno already said he's got the script basically done for a sequel, but it's not approved yet. And I'm like, but the manga is really
approved,
good.
And he wants to have a rest apparently because he's been working for 30 years.
Well, he said for the first time in 30 years, he's got nothing on his slate, and I'm just like, oh, but you were cooking with this, and I need you to just keep that grill going.
Dude's
rev up those fires
for a while. Right. Dude's been cooking for a while. He did Ava reboots. Ava reboots took 10 plus years to come out. One of the Ava movies, I think 3.0, took a hiatus because he worked on Shin Godzilla. Then he got big mad that, I think he said this in a video, he got big mad that he worked on Shin Godzilla because it stopped him from doing Ava, but then he still liked enjoying doing Shin Godzilla. Then he worked on the Avas and then was doing Shin Ultraman and Shin Kamen Rider on the side as well.
Yeah, because he finished the fourth. He did the 4th Ava movie while he was going into pre-production for Ultraman.
Yeah,
and I was like, deserves a break. Let him just do the manga for a bit. Give us one more volume. I'm hoping it's on the internet to read in English, but I'm hoping it gets a physical release because right now the chapters are digital only, even in Japan.
Really.
And honestly, without spoiling anything, honestly, I'm not hoping for a Shin V3. I'm hoping for a Shin Ishinomori verse, because there's so much. This is not just a love letter to Kamen Rider. It's a love letter to the man himself. like Shotaro Ishinomori. There's
Yeah.
so much in here.
Especially if you read the big manga.
Yeah.
There's I think he pulled more from that than actually just like the show itself.
Yeah. So I'm just like, yeah, I need to see like Shin Kakaider, Shin Inazuman, like all those other like Ishinomori properties need to be a thing now. I'm just like
Shingo Ranger.
And a lot of people
that's the obvious one, but I'm just like
that is
the thing is, it's just like there's allusions to these other Ishinomori properties in this film, but not Go Ranger.
I wouldn't want the Sentai one right away because that's predictable. And it's the obvious choice. Whereas, like, no, you already set up this other stuff. Like, let the simmer continue it on. Like, there's like, and so many different like references pulled from all of the works. And I'm like, man, like, this isn't just Kamen Rider. Like, with all, like, even in your review, your spoiler one, you point out all these points. Like, this could be this, that, and then like you go into your theories for what they can do for future ones. I'm like, yes, okay, I want that. Like, that's. Makes perfect sense, but as long as the manga is going on, I'm like, I kind of okay if like he's chills for a couple of years, like before we get something else, because I want to see not from an Anno standpoint, what's next for Toei and Kamen Rider to give to us over here, because we've been
Mr. Cool Guy Awesome, get out. Shin Caesar X, get out of here with that. Caesar X was so bad it killed a franchise.
I want Shin Kamen Rider Blade. That's all I want.
Maybe next year.
Shin Beetleborgs.
Yes, Shin Saban, the Shin Sabanverse. Which is that VR Troopers, Power Rangers, we have Big Bad Beetleborgs, all in there.
Was a Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad in there?
But that's not part of the Sabanverse.
I think one of those Matthew brothers isn't doing anything right now.
OG Digimon, because that was technically dubbed by Saban Entertainment. All that in there.
Listen, if we ever want to talk about, like, not off topic, but kind of topic, like what Digimon's doing right now with their light novel like thing going on with their new show that's not animated is insane and really cool. And
Shin Furbus, just a Furbus special.
Furbus.
Yes, the origin story of Furbus.
That word is muted on my Google Chrome extension because I didn't get to buy the actual show mask because I was at work, and someone else bought it.
You could have smelled what Vern Troyer smelled like.
Dude, I would wear that everywhere.
Like that musk of like 30 years fermenting.
I'd have to Febreze it.
All right, so moving on to the main topic of tonight and what everybody has been waiting for. This right here. I had to turn on my VPN just to be able to get to the P Bandai listing of this because, of course, they block it. Yes. So this is the Imagination Belt from Disney celebrating 100 years in the making. We get the collaboration between Bandai and Disney that give us. Mark, I gotta ask you because, of course, like I know you got the wife that's into Disney stuff, and then did you show her this?
Yes,
I gotta know that reaction. It's
gonna be in the collection.
Nice.
And
when I first saw this, I was thinking of you because I'm just like, oh, this is literally the combination. This is like if you had a child, this would be your child.
She saw a Kamen Rider with me, which was like a big win. And then I'm like, you know what? We're crossing streams a bit right now. Like, this is what I needed. And just like I did the video for the Shin Universe Stupid Robo, I have a video coming out. Be like, yes, I did pre-order the stupid Disney Robo. Because
we're gonna get into that one next, but yes.
But this thing is so like I made a joke on Twitter because I was like, you know, different keys, and everyone was bringing up Kingdom Hearts, and I'm like, no, and everyone's like, oh, Kamen Rider Mickey. I'm like, no, you need the Goofy key so you could be Kamen Rider Yuck. Like that's it.
Yuck.
And if you use the Max key, the standby music is Powerline. Like, I'm just like, because I saw the keys, like, this thing is beautiful.
Oh, hold on. Let me not have the sound playing for this.
Oh, I didn't hear any sound. I don't know if they can hear it in the stream, but like, Look at that. That's CSM
Oh,
quality.
that
That
looks
has to be a
nice.
CSM.
Yep.
Like, I don't even care because I know there's no listings yet. The second there is, like,
Yeah.
that's.
I'm just wondering, is that like die-cast metal or is it like
I think
proper
it's plated.
plastic?
I
Like,
think it's
what is
plated. It can't be metal.
like
That
it
I'm
thing's
just
sure the
heavy.
keys are die cast.
it looks too good. That's the
It's
thing.
too
I'm just
shiny.
like,
Well, it's because it's Disney. You don't think Disney's gonna let Bandai put out
Mhm.
like? Nah,
and then
Disney's
of
gonna
course
get
that center
plastic.
part is an LED, so like that's crazy in there. Like the quality of the key going in there. You of course have lights and effects going up from the top, and since it opens up, it's gonna display some shit in there.
Dude, I hope that there's different sounds for each key. Like, give me an obnoxious Donald in his stupid voice saying Henshin.
Like you can already tell that this is CSM quality already
yeah.
because of the belt straps in itself. This is a CSM belt, so this
Yeah.
is CSM pricing.
Because you could see the loop on the back end of it,
Yeah.
where the actual strap, and I'm like, that's why I was like, now this is that's so clean, and I'm like, how can they do a collab like this and it looks so good? Whereas like, then we get things like the Legend Henshin series belts.
Yeah, exactly. Then we get that, but you know, for Disney, and the funny thing is, like, I honestly didn't even know it was like Disney's 100th like birthday and all that stuff.
I already know.
Went to
Yeah.
Best Buy today to pick up the Super Mario movie in 4K because I forgot
Yep.
that it came out like last week, and then I see that they have a whole steelbook collection of like all labeled like Disney 100, and I'm just like, I'm gonna have to cop so many of these films, the good ones.
Get in on the
Yeah.
Wise Schwartz cards because those things are selling like the whatever the price is. Buy a booster box because some of those individual cards are going for like 700 to 800 each, and not even like ultra rare ones either. I know because I got a couple boxes.
Yeah, so we got that, and then
Look at that thing. Look at it.
Yeah,
It's magic.
like this. Oh nope, we got
Nope.
this as well. That there's more keys.
Mm-hmm. Look at those gimmicks.
So they already got so many keys like in the making for this as well. And they're just not even revealing them, meaning this might be like either a fall like full reveal or
Yeah.
when's D23 happening again? That's like in December, right? Usually.
Yeah. No,
don't
D23 is in.
It's like September, August, isn't it? I know it's in the
yeah.
fall.
Because I feel like D23 is where probably we might get more of the information regarding this. But I'm just
soon because
and I know a lot of people have already been saying like they can see the Kingdom Hearts references a mile away when it comes to all this shit.
I
mean,
keys,
listen, I didn't.
Disney's been doing keys way before Kingdom
Yeah.
Hearts even. Like if you were a kid and you went to a Disney store before they opened, they would pick a kid and they'd bring the big key to them and he'd open it. They've been doing it at Disneyland. If anything, Kingdom Hearts just made it a weapon. But I was thinking, what if this is like leading up to like, what if this is something that's in the next Kingdom Hearts game?
Oh, I thought that too.
It could literally be a thing because of course they're working with a Japanese company yet again. Just
I mean,
for
the
all
power
this.
ups in 3 was Disney ride, so I can see this being a thing.
Can you imagine like a whole like a Toei world that you got to visit?
Oh my god. Like it's just like the Toei the Tokusatsu that were like the Marvel Toei crossovers. Like you just get them in there.
Yeah, instead of Jiminy Cricket, you get Jiminy Bata. Like it works.
No, but of course it's like these are like I'm interested to see like what all these key designs were, what the because I'm like, what's the vault hiding? What's in the vault? What is in that Disney vault? Is it like a full-on LED display? And when you put the keys in there, it literally will display like hyper like visuals, like more LEDs than what we're used to in like the Vision Driver, Demon Driver, like a full LCD display, maybe.
And it shows whatever the key is, that person doing
exactly.
a pose.
Because if so, that's gonna instantly drive the price up on this shit, like dramatically. If it's going from LEDs to an actual like LCD display.
Listen, I don't care what the price is. If it's too high, I'll just do those installment. I'll go through TokuTonic's. I'll get those installments.
I might do the installment payment on this one as well because I'm just like, this is too absurd for me not to like buy it. I'm just like,
I'm gonna have to do a payment installment of the Soul of Chichogan that just got restocked.
Oh yeah, I
Oh.
saw that. I was tempted.
Yeah. 'Cause I never.
I just
picked
got
up
the mini
first one.
plus for both of those, so I don't. Sounds like
Maybe I'll get the mini plus. I don't know. I don't know. I'll think about it. Disney Driver. I'm going off topic.
yeah.
Yeah,
no,
Disney
send
Driver
it.
out here is just I mean, it like I said, it came out of nowhere. I did not expect to wake up and see this one day and just go like, this looks dumb. And then like within 5 minutes going like, but I want this.
Yeah.
100%. Like, also, who's the secondary? Would it be Goofy or Donald?
I think it would be Goofy.
It'd be mini.
I feel like
Nah,
Donald would
for
show up.
sure.
He would be like the antagonist at first, like the anti-writer, like the smug one, and then joins the crew by the end.
I mean, Donald would be a Kamen Rider villain
He's
like
gonna-
those.
yeah.
Then the real antagonist would be Oswald the Lucky Rabbit.
I was gonna say Pete.
Yeah.
No, but Oswald was the original Disney mascot.
Yeah.
True.
Pete's more of a goofy antagonist.
Yeah.
Yep.
Goofy.
But yeah, this like real big speculation when it comes to this. I want to hear the sounds. I want to see the lights. I gotta know the jingles. Like this better have some fire jingles and not just like recycled Disney tracks. I need that with that writer bombast thrown in there as well. I need those loops that you can listen to for 10 hours straight and not get tired of them. I need stuff like that. Like all of that.
Would technically the Aladdin key kind of be like Revice with Vice coming out of Icky as a ghost, but instead it's the genie? Oh man, I need an anime of this now.
It would be funny if they actually like they're just showing us this now, but then in like a couple weeks or in D23 they announced a Toei Tokusatsu fan club of actual Kamen Rider Disney.
Gosh, it's just like a freaking code word. It's really a Disney season that's coming up next.
Oh my god. Disney X Toei presents Gachard, the Disney season.
Dude, I watched that.
I mean, I did make
100%.
my troll video where I said that Disney's taking over like Super Sentai Kamen Rider, and people didn't watch the entire video, and they commented like right away with their thoughts on Disney and how got them.
I'd be okay with that, honestly. Listen, like it means we would get like, can you imagine, like hypothetically, they get on Toei all the freaking seasons subbed on freaking Disney Plus? Like,
That's true.
there you go.
Yeah,
I would watch Avatar 2 again.
I did say that if they do a Disney-based writer, then the base form would essentially be reliant on the animated properties, but then if they make like a Zio another writer version, they would use the live action properties instead.
Oh,
I mean,
I'll show you what it'll look like.
Technically
Give me one
speaking,
moment.
Jasmine was the pink Power Ranger in the 2017 Power Ranger film.
That's true. There is correlation there. There is correlation.
But no, this thing, like,
Let me put something in private chat
it looks
real quick.
Real quick, in terms of asking folks if they want this belt, the answer is 80% yes.
very decisive. I just hate that the key's hovering right there. It's like, just put it in there and turn, please.
Exactly.
Like,
I'm just like you're taking a video of this, my guy. Just like what's stopping you? Just open that shit up. Just open it up.
wasn't the toy show going on right now?
I think so. But check private chat of what like a Disney rider would look like.
Let me see here.
How'd you get that photo of me?
Oh my god, that looks like nightmare fuel. What the?
I love that so much. All right, everyone, that's how I'm showing up the Power Morphicon.
That looks like an AI generated thing, like complete nightmare fuel right there. Disgusting.
He literally had to rip the face off of the cartoon Mickey to put it on.
Oh my god, that's so bad. Oh man, yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing. That's an entire thing on there. See, I was just going with Kaito's gonna be the Kamen Rider for the season, just specifically with this drip that he showed up to.
Right.
I'm just like, This man got the
Wait.
Supreme sweatpants, the boots,
Right.
and I'm just like, this is your Disney Rider right here, guys. This is your Disney
King-Ohger
Rider.
versus
Is it
Kaito,
weird? Does he
we
look
never-
like he aged like 15 years? Like he looks so.
This
This
is
looks so.
King-Ohger Kaito.
This
we
looks
never
so
got.
like unenthused. Like I'm here, contractually obligated.
Yeah, that's why I included him in the thumbnail. I was just like, Disney Kaito out here rocking the imagination belt.
He's just like full tired, full paycheck.
It's just like, I don't know if this image actually came from the viewing, but I just saw this on Twitter with everything, and I'm just like, did he drip out for the Disney release? Because I'm just like, oh my god, it's great. Can't make this shit up sometimes. I'm just like, it writes itself. It writes itself.
Mm.
I'm just gonna ask chat Kaito for Kamen Rider Disney. See.
But like crossovers like this are like collaborations like this are like really unique and entertaining.
Yeah.
And I really want to see more stuff like this. Like we get, you know how you get the knockoff Transformers toys and this and that kind of seem inspired by that stuff. But like I like when it's like an official capacity where they put like the work into making it look good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm just like, can't Toy play it nice and give us some cool like Kamen Rider Ultraman crossover stuff? That's not a really ugly robot. That's gonna go right here on my wall shelf in front of everybody next year.
Now, in terms of, oh my god.
Oh god, burn it.
Now, in terms of pricing, what do you think the ballpark would be for this belt? Since we don't have retail pricing.
Well,
Oh no, Ash is gone. Kevin got Ash.
of course.
What
Honestly,
happened?
like I'm gonna say because how Disney works with their licensing and like their percentage on top, like minimum, because it's also going to be 100th of the Disney 100. And I know most of their stuff is priced a lot. Like the White Schwartz booster boxes that are normally like $50-$60 are starting at 140. Just because it's Disney, and they're not even doing English ones. It's all in Japanese. They're not even they're gonna, but not. I don't think they've been released yet. I'm gonna say it's gonna start at like 385, low end.
If it's in the ballpark of 400, I might consider it.
Yeah.
but
I don't
if
think
it
it's
ends,
gonna be more than 5 though, because that nice
Yeah,
500 is my
5,
guess.
It's never gonna go above that though.
yeah, if it jumps up to like 500, it's gonna be a no from me, Doc, on that one. It's like I
I'll do it.
like the prospect of it, but I'm not gonna shell $500 for this thing.
They'd be like, it's 5. I'm like, wood, and I got it. Like I won't go past 6.
Now, will it just be the one, or will you buy 2 because your wife will probably want to rock this as well, and you guys duke it out?
That's a good point. All right. Actually, now thinking of it, like depending on the price point, I would get 2, keep 1 factory sealed. Because obviously, regardless, I'm not keeping it factory sealed.
Yeah, that's going to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
up in price.
Yeah, this is dramatically something that's going to go up in value. Like,
because this is something that like non-Toku fans, like who are just Disney collectors, they don't care what crossover it is. It's Disney. They're gonna buy it. So I could be like, oh yeah, this is from Japan and Bandai. It's like a Kamen Rider belt. Like, what's Kamen Rider belt? Don't worry about it. But it's Disney. It's like, yeah, I'll take 1,200, please. And they're like, I want it. And it's like, okay.
So let me pull up a poll here regarding price points, and because I know people were throwing out price tags. Average seems to be like 400, 500.
Yeah. Except for Graf, who said it's going to cost the same as the Apple $3,400 VR headset, which it's not.
I haven't.
But is
even
that
seen
real?
that.
I keep
Yeah,
seeing
that's
memes
real.
about that.
No, that's real. That's the price. I believe. I think that is actually the legit price. And if it is, like, I mean, listen, I'm not saying I want it, but I do.
Let's see.
If we don't get a video of this thing in action, like turning the key and the vault opening, what if the vault little handle spins as it opens? Oh,
That'd be cool.
damn it. I need to see this thing like fully functioning. I mean, it's not going to change my mind if I get it, but I'm curious. I don't like seeing new toys and not seeing how they work.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like everything is hidden behind the vault. It's legit like back in the 90s when they would say like, you got to buy this now or else it's going to go into the Disney vault. And it gave you like that FOMO property. I need to see what's inside this vault.
It's just a hand. It's just a hand wearing a white glove giving you the finger. Like, dumbass, you spent money on this. Good job.
It's going to be like Mickey just pulling out his big mouse. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Just out there, just pulling it out for everybody. But yeah, definitely interested in this thing. I'm curious to see all these keys, considering how they actually function with it, because looking at the grooves of the keys, they all have the same groove. So I'm wondering if there's like an IR like sensor that's in the very tip of each key that registers with a sensor inside the belt.
They could also be placeholders too, because the key that's right there is different than the other ones.
Yeah, it does have 4 grooves versus the 3 that's showcased off in these images. So yeah, that is a possibility.
Also, if there's a villain organization, would the villains be called the Musketeers or the Mouseketeers? That was the thing, wasn't it?
We got to see how deep this rabbit hole is going to end up going for this, or if it's literally just going to be about this this belt.
I may have to dive into some fan fiction writing. That is.
Hey, got to get to it. So the other major thing that we had this week was this thing.
It's so ugly.
Celebrating also 100 years of Disney, we have the King Robo with, of course, our heroes here in their outfits. Not the first time that we've seen any of this at all. Of course, I find it completely ironic how I think it was like last stream or the stream before that where chat was having me look at the Disney robot only for them to technically re-release it. Like, I'm just like, timing is so impeccable when it comes to this.
Yep.
Because it's like, this
because we looked at the Toy Story ones, didn't we?
Yeah,
we did look at the Toy Story ones. Yes.
Dude, this thing is so hideous. I cannot wait.
Yeah, so looking at this, of course, they show us the individual robots for Minnie, for Goofy. There's Donald. Scrolling is weird. It goes through the like full page thing. Got Daisy, we got Pluto, and we got Mickey out here. So we get all of this nice little setup with this robot right here. Looking awfully familiar because it's literally just this. It's literally just this.
But better.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just like, wait, everything about this looks the same.
Familiar.
Yeah, I'm just like, it's essentially a remold with some additional parts in there and a change in color scheme. But yeah, it's essentially the same robot. They just are re-releasing it, different color scheming and all that. Of course, the shoulders are different.
Clocks.
Yep. Because of course they're going in with that entire theme with the clocks everywhere on there. And if these are fully functional clocks as well, which they probably are, then money. Absolute money. But I like the pastel colors used in this because it's not completely like overbearing and like very clumsy.
It doesn't look cheap either. That looks cheap in the other one.
Yeah,
this does not look.
This
cheap.
is a lot more.
And it's not cheap either because
it's a Solo Chogokin. Those are always expensive anyway. Yeah. I've always wanted one, but then I see those price tags and I go, no, not at all, not today.
Solo Walt Guggen. Sorry.
I'm like, nope, that's not gonna. Like,
so they go all in depth with like the specifications and everything on this guy in terms of like each individual robot piece that we have here. We have an in-depth look on like the individual Mickey mech. Here we go with Minnie. Like all of that, we get the pilot data and all that stuff, and people are already like predicting who's going to be like the 6th Sentai of the crew. Scrooge. And I'm still like, it's Oswald. It's still going to be Oswald.
No, it's got to be Scrooge, and then Huey, Dewey, and Louie are the auxiliary mechs. Like you can't. And then
That's too much duck. That's too much duck.
Launchpad.
Yeah, it's too much duck.
You can't.
If that's the case, then can we have Darkwing Duck at least?
That's what I was about to say. He could be like the mysterious, like anti-hero, but not the sixth. Because actually, Darkwing Duck will get his own series, and honestly, it'd be Shin Darkwing Duck.
Yes. He'd have a robot that's similar to like the Big O, because of course that's inspired by Batman, just like Darkwing Duck. So you can have
Love
all
Darkwing
that
Duck.
We got Pete, we got Clarabelle, in terms of names being tossed out there. How about what was her name? Goofy's wife from Goof Troop.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know. All I know is she thick. That's all I remember.
Oh no, I was like,
did you mean Pete's wife?
She was even in the movie. She was in the freaking.
Did you mean Pete's wife?
Show, which was weird. No.
Oh yeah, Pete's wife.
Pete's wife is thick.
She is thick. Definitely thick. It's been a while since I watched Goof Troop. Chip and Dale, they could show up, get their own mech.
They'd be tiny though.
They would be tiny, but hey, we've had tiny auxiliary mechs before.
That's true. They could be like the little. Yeah, they could be like the GoBots.
Hey, it would work. It would work. So yeah, we've got all these like fundamental. They really went out of their way to really showcase off all of these fucking Doghouse here as well. Like this, like all of this going on. The clock that ends up being the main weapon and all that shit. Like I want this, but at the same time, it's Solo Chigoken, so I don't want this because I know the price point's already going to be like high.
Yeah,
but it's like ridiculous.
Once I combine it, I'm not decombining it because I'm afraid because of the price. Like it's not no break on it.
So, Ash, you buying it?
No, it's probably going to be like 800, 900 Australian dollars.
And it's probably not going to be that large anyway, because I think most of like Solo Chigoken are like what 12-inch at most. Like they're not too big.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
I can see this being like probably 14 or 15, maybe. Like not too like.
It just depends whether or not they actually like. I don't know the specs of this guy specifically in terms of how large it actually was. So. Yeah, since it's using technically a remold of it, then I would expect that it is around the same thing. So yeah, general thoughts on Disney just out of nowhere having these collaborations with Bandai with IPs that you normally wouldn't really associate with them.
I need more.
Yeah,
because we got literally the Kamen Rider crossover with the belt. Now we have the Super Sentai crossover with the mecha. I'm like the little robo. I was like, I need more.
Man, folks out here in the chat really shooting for the moon when it comes to this belt because they're predicting 51% over $500. Y'all, damn. That's a lot.
I mean, if it goes above that, I might be the only person doing a review video on it. I'm like, fine. Challenge accepted. I'll dress up in my Organization 13. Ooh, that's a good cosplay. The Organization 13 like hoodie cloak thing and that driver. Oh, that's actually.
But would you actually do it, considering that you got on my case for actually wearing a CSM to the theater?
No. Wait. It's different going to a movie theater than it is going to a convention.
It's worse going to a convention.
No, it's not.
When you go to a convention, you're gonna be like accidentally like bumping into other folks and things like that, and there's more potential for shit getting damaged. As someone that rocks cosplay to conventions, cosplays get messed up,
and then my rage will be caught on film when I handle situations. No, I would, but like I'm very protective of my stuff, so it's like I'd be like, all right, boom, 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 done. Go back in the briefcase, lock it, handcuff it to my wrist.
This Six Ranger is for sure Powerline.
I mean, Powerline. I like how everyone's just like Powerline, but no one like. Does anyone know the names of like the 2 songs, the Powerline songs from the movie?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
See,
I think it's called Standout, but I don't know. I just think like so it's like, oh, I like the Powerline song. It's like, yeah, I don't know. The dance that they did is the Henshin pose.
oh, that would be it. Yes.
Yeah. I'm a little teapot, 5 o'clock. Let it fly.
Mersley says it's eye to eye.
Eye to eye. Okay. See, I don't know these things because you know what? By the driver.
Yep. Fake fan, fake Disney fan. Boo.
Oh.
I mean, it's Disney. I mean,
I turn the camera around. You just see the shrines over there. And you're like, damn.
When it comes to Disney, I'm honestly like like I haven't been that interested in Disney stuff in a while. Like it would take something like this dipping their toes into like something an IP that I actually am engrossed in to actually care again when it comes to Disney stuff. Because I think the last time I like, besides like the Marvel stuff that I barely care about nowadays, just because like the FOMO's gone, the stakes feel gone, they just feel like it's not even an event anymore. It's just there. I don't really care too much when it comes to a lot of what Disney's pumping out. Though I have watched like the newest iteration of the Mickey Mouse cartoon, the one that's more like done in a classic style sense, where they do those shorts, and I'm just,
Is that the one with all the memes I keep seeing floating around?
it might be just because it has that very crude animation style where it's like a mix of old school meets new school stuff, and I was just like, this is actually pretty hilarious. Like it's not bad. But otherwise, when it comes to Disney stuff, I haven't really cared too much in a lot of stuff. The only thing I watched that technically is in Disney circulation is an Australian cartoon by the name of Bluey.
Oh,
because it's really good. So this begs the question now that we've got a property like Disney doing things like rider belts and stuff like that, what other company from the West, specifically from the West, would you like to see collab with Bandai to make their own version of a rider belt? Like
we gotta do DC and have a Batman rider belt.
The proper utility belt. I would feel like that would be like an easy answer.
We got to go obnoxious and inappropriate South Park. One of the gimmicks could be Mr. Hanky. The Christmas poo is literally could be a gimmick.
When South Park celebrates, technically, wouldn't they be celebrating 30 years in what 39? I mean, at 29 in 2029. I think they would
5 years. So I was 12 when it came out. So
and I think 25th anniversary was last year, and they had a big concert.
Yeah.
So it's like, they could do so it would be the Mr. Hanky, the Mr. Hanky belt. It's a literal shit.
It's a turd.
The Family Guy belt, Peter Griffin belt, and it's like his chin.
But that's Disney now. That's Disney now.
Oh fuck, it is.
That's Disney now.
Because
that means we need the Family Guy key for the belt.
Oh god. Is this Peter's laugh for the standby noise? He's so obnoxious.
Yes.
Just get that. Every time you put it into the belt, it's just going to be a cutaway gag that you just never know.
But you
never know what to hear, like the Peter Griffin laugh being auto-tuned to like the Geats power-up sound.
But like, I was thinking cartoon shows. I'm trying to think like live action. I was like, man, like we could just get like a Toku crossover, like freaking Fast and the Furious, and like the 11th film. They're like, how are we gonna stop these cars? Next thing you know, it's like
Vin Diesel pulls out a fucking driver.
He just says we got to shift into turbo.
you see Vin Diesel pull out a driver. It's just like fast driver.
Yeah. Dude, see, there you go. And it's like
they'll CG Paul Walker to come back again, and he'll pull out the Furious driver.
Right.
That's it. That would be it. We are making content.
Yeah,
Vin Diesel, hit us up. We got the ideas for Fast 11 right now. Like, this is it.
Yeah. because they haven't
This
even
is
started
it.
filming it yet, so they still got time to do some rewrites and make it good. But there's like a lot of it, like, and I was thinking, then I was like, oh man, but Disney acquired Fox, so I'm like, there goes the Aliens crossover we could do, which would be awesome. There goes Predator or anything like that. Because I'm like, man, could we get Arnold in a Toku? That would be like peak, like just Arnold and Sylvester Stallone both trying to henshin and say henshin at the same time. Like,
Yes.
it's impossible.
Since we've been watching all the Rocky films on the Discord server recently, I'm just like Rocky Balboa X Kamen Rider. Let's do it.
How far did you get into that marathon?
So we watched the second film last night. So in
Okay.
a couple nights we're gonna watch the third film. We're gonna skip 5 because
Was 5
Fuck 5.
Balboa?
no 5
No.
5 was the 90s one where Street Fight Brawl.
Oh
shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
you could.
Yeah.
That was like as a kid, I liked that one, but then as an adult, I was like, this is horrible. But Rocky Balboa was still the best out of all of them, besides the second one.
I'd say Rocky Balboa was surprisingly good, but yeah, give me that Rocky driver. Like let me just see that, and then Creed obviously
driver.
would show up. Yep, Creed shows up with the Adonis driver, so just pulling it up, just like using his dad's essence to transform, like just getting all that vibes. And in the end, like Rocky dies, and then we finally get his son actually coming back, grabbing the driver from him and transforming for once, actually being useful. And it's like, hey, the guy from Heroes finally becomes a hero yet again.
If they have the Rocky driver and it's like older Sylvester Stallone, but they do like Thouser instead of presented by Zai, it's like presented by Cialis.
I'm just waiting for it to just say like Adrian as he like that, like that's the henshin sound that comes out of it.
But I'm trying to think. There's like so many. Like I just realized how many properties Disney owns now.
Reboot
It's
RoboCop. Let's get the RoboCop driver. Let's get the Judge Dredd driver.
Let's get the Quentin Tarantino verse driver.
Yes, all of that. All of that. Like
that reminds off topic, but not really, because you said RoboCop and like Terminator stuff. Do you guys ever read the crossover comic from the 90s, Terminator versus RoboCop?
I did not.
Oh, it's so good. All the covers were like full, like metallic, like reflective, like they put like actual like kind of like a metal plating thing in like the covers, and they were like thick paper. I just thought about that because I was like, man, we could get like RoboCop as kind of like a metal hero versus like all the T-1000s as like an army thing, and I was like, that'd be a cool Toku to watch.
See here, the Balboa driver to shout, "Get in the fight!"
I didn't hear no bell.
I didn't hear no jingle.
No, actually, that's what they should do. They should make Mickey's voice come out of it, like, "Yo, Mick," and then he's just like, "You're a bum, Rocky!" And just like as he transforms, he's just getting that Mickey motivation. Like, it'd be so fucking great. I'm like, all these stupid ideas are just hilarious.
I'm trying to think of like, because there's so many things that would look really cool. Like even joking aside, that would actually just look visually appealing to have like on a display. Like because functionality of drivers, that's cool and all, but let's face it, most of the time whenever we, at least I can speak for myself, and Zio, I could see your collection. When I get a driver, first day, gotta do the henshins, gotta play with it. That it's batteries out on the shelf.
Yep.
Or back in the box. And it's one of those things where it's like, if it looks cool, like there's a lot of cool, like I could see, could you imagine like a driver like Aliens, like the film franchise, and like the front thing is kind of like where we do the buy stamp on the Demon driver, but instead it's a face hugger that you can attach to the front of it for like that would look really cool.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Like there's a lot of cool, like obviously from a movie and show, like the concept of a show wouldn't work, but the driver would.
And I know it's Hasbro and it wouldn't work, but it would still be stupid if we got a Transformers belt like Optimus Prime just pulls out like the Autobot, like he just pulls it out, the Matrix of leadership, and it just becomes a belt, and then he just transforms. And he literally says transforms and rolls out. And then it's just like, but You already transform. It's like
Yeah.
I'll just transform again.
Well, if you think about it this way, I thought you were going to go G.I. Joe route. Because if you look at all their code names, if you put Kamen Rider in front of any of the G.I. Joe code names, it works as a rider name.
It would.
Kamen Rider Snake Eyes. Kamen Rider Joe. Like, and I was like, damn, like, that would actually work. And that would be a crossover that I think could viably work from a merchandising standpoint, too. You got to stop Cobra. Well, we developed this new system. What's it called? The Rider system. It's like, okay.
How about Conan the Barbarian?
After I want to think about Conan. I put way too
But
many
the thing is,
Conan
like,
Exiles.
because the only Conan to me, like for live action, is Dolph Lundgren, and he's like well past that prime now. When
No, he's not. He's in Expendables 4 that apparently is coming out because they made another.
They're doing that. Oh my
Wait,
God.
a fourth?
Yeah, they released a trailer yesterday. Tony Jaa is in it, and I was like, "Where did this man go?" Oh, Tony Jaa's back. I'm like, "Cool." And then they got the guy from The Raid in it also, and I'm like, "All right." And they're kind of doing
the Raid movies.
They're kind of doing like a. It seems like they're doing like a passing of the torch because they're like old school versus new school, and I'm like, "Oh."
Wait,
was
50 Cent is in the new Expendables?
Yes, I was.
He's still relevant? What? Well, I guess
he's doing
he
it
reached
Power
that
Show.
status.
He's like doing a final lap tour in Australia, which I don't know if I'll go to or not.
Oh,
He's gonna play all 4 of his hit songs.
Yeah.
now I'm just gonna need like Exhibit to make a comeback so we can bring back those Exhibit memes.
Dude,
Yo, dog, I heard you like a belt with your belt. So then he pulls up the Exhibit driver and it's a belt on a belt. Doing it.
So many of those cars from that show popped up like abandoned and like for like $400 with like the stuff still in it, and apparently most of the cars ended up like falling apart. Which is
I've
pretty
heard
hilarious.
stories like that.
I'm trying to think. You know what would work? Well, I mean, it doesn't really count because I like Yu-Gi-Oh! GX more than main Yu-Gi-Oh! And I know everyone hates that, but like because they had all the hero decks, give me a Yu-Gi-Oh! Kamen Rider, like, or a Kamen Rider.
I mean,
like Yu-Gi-Oh!
There are like rider-based heroes in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, no, I play hero decks. That's the only decks I play.
No,
just
I think they're
because of
called
that.
Vision Heroes. I think they're called Vision Heroes.
They added new ones in. I noticed because I was playing that Master Duel one, and they added all these. I'm like, these are Kamen Rider.
Ooh, Thundercats, Thundera driver, says Jam Cal. I'd be down for that.
Be okay with that. Little Kamen Rider Lino right here.
But it'll be like Kid Lino, and then when he puts on the belt, he ages up to be in like continuity of the show.
He has the sword, so he can hench in like in Saber.
But
Give him a
yeah,
little sword driver.
that would be like
better.
Sabers related.
I'd be okay with that.
We let's see some of these weird names that we got. We got Kamen Rider Steeljaw, Kamen Rider Bumblebee, Strong Arm.
Thank you, Graf. I am the chosen one.
Kamen Rider Sharknado.
No.
Kamen Rider Metroplex. Let's see.
Dude, that'd be a big
Kamen Rider Erector. I know it's a transformer, but that's still funny.
TOS.
Kamen Rider Wheeljack. Let's see.
Ben 10 is
Rider
basically Toku.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Toku adjacent. Like so,
got a wrist driver.
Cartoons and anime aren't Toku, by the way. Everyone, comic books aren't Toku. They're Toku adjacent or Toku inspired. Just have to do that PSA.
Yeah, attention
people like everyone's like, "Oh, do you see this? That's a great Toku." I'm like, "No, that's a cartoon."
Yeah, it's a medium. So,
Baywatch, 100%.
I'll bring that Baywatch. There we go. I did see someone earlier say Knight Rider as well, so that would be another one that I could see working. A lot of 80s franchises in general just work for the concept. So,
Magnum PI. Oh. Murder She Wrote, where her typewriters
Gunsmoke.
Dude, Gunsmoke, Ponderosa, Bonanza, those three all of them work perfectly.
MASH. All of it.
I was just thinking about that. I almost bought the complete DVD set the other day.
Actually, look, they're bringing back Frasier.
Really?
Let's give Frasier.
They play reruns like crazy, like all the time in Australia.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Let's give Frasier a fucking driver because they're bringing it back.
All right, E-Man in the chat. Quantum Leap. Listen, Kamen Rider Quantum Leap would be so cool of like a show. In the new Quantum Leap, I know a lot of people are hating on it. It's amazing. Season 1
You know,
just ended.
Curb Your Enthusiasm. Let's give Larry David a fucking belt.
He would just be called
Seinfeld
Kamen Rider
Rider.
Larry David. They're like, what's the point of this driver? I don't know.
I don't know.
The
Apparently,
best
it needs a catchphrase or something to activate it. Something like, I don't know.
What's the deal with this
Transform?
Kamen Rider?
Yep. Kamen
Always
Rider. Well,
sensei.
there is the Good Burger movie coming up. So Keenan and Kel
Sequel.
Riders. Let's get those. Let's get those in there. The Do Driver for Kel. That would be it. The Do Driver. Kamen Rider Back to the Future.
Listen, Back to the Future is perfect. I would never touch anything Back to the Future, and I would never want it to cross over with anything. That's like the one franchise I'm like, you leave it alone. Don't touch it. It's preserved. That's why I'm glad they never did a reboot. They never did a real-time sequel because both, mainly Michael J. Fox said he would never do it because that's done. That story is told. He didn't want it. And I'm like, yes, don't touch it. Although Ghostbusters, the sequel to the last one, Afterlife, is starting to film. The Ecto 1 has been seen on location in New York.
That's pretty cool.
Now, Mark, how would you feel if they throw a curveball during the next season of The Rings of Power?
Oh God!
And they pull out the Ring Driver,
the Gollum Driver, the Precious Driver.
Just because if I'm thinking of any other company that would potentially pull shit like this, it would be Amazon with whatever they've got going on. So
I might actually watch the show past the first episode if they did that. No, me and Mark both love Lord of the Rings. Could not make it past the first episode. And also, sorry, yes, I know they did do crossovers with those are toys. I'm talking like I just wouldn't want to see a show with like Back to the Future like crossed over with anything. Like even if it was Kamen Rider,
Wheel of Time drivers.
Oh no, thank you. I'd be okay with Ghostbusters. That would actually work, honestly.
Oh, that would work actually. Get the plasma packs like integrated with it as well. Yeah. They have like the trapper like built into it. They transform using like whatever ghost that they capture.
Yeah. Instead of using the beams coming out of the thing, they could just turn them into like a sword type thing.
Yeah, so there's like a lot. Kamen Rider Bill and Ted.
Oh, listen, that would be good. It has to be bogus journey though, or bogus adventure.
I would say like the Matrix, but like Neo's already like overpowered and all that shit. There would be no need for it. He could just imagine it and just become it.
Kamen Rider Anderson.
Kamen Rider Anderson.
Kamen Rider Duck Dynasty.
Oh my, they're still relevant.
King of the Hill would work.
Give me Kamen Rider Pawn Stars.
He'd go to sell like the summer movie gimmick. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna give you about $2 for that.
Yeah, I got to turn a profit.
Yeah,
it's like I absolutely have to turn a profit. So I will give you $2 for this belt that you paid what you got for free. You found this in an attic.
Yeah,
that's $2 you didn't have before.
Now, if we instead of doing like a Toku, if we did like a crossover style where like, hey, a new season of Kamen Rider kind of crossed over, kind of like how they do other things, there's tons of potential for that. I'm like, okay, there's a lot that I would be okay with for crossovers. Yes, Kamen Rider Mr. Bean, of course. That guy's a national treasure. Treasure. Kamen Rider freaking Ernest.
I mean, Sesame Street, we get the Bert and Ernie driver. They combine like Kamen Rider Double.
I'm surprised there isn't a I know they did a Power Rangers Monopoly. I'm surprised there isn't any sort of Kamen Rider Monopoly or like I'm sure there is in Japan. There's like a lot of Toku crossovers because they did a Kamen Rider Othello for the 50th anniversary, and I know because that's in a box in my closet.
But yeah, Monopoly is one that's in here. Kamen Rider Silent Hill.
You Pac-Man, say Shrek Driver one more time, I'm putting you in a timeout. We don't know. That would be the worst thing ever. The driver just yells out Donkey.
Shrek-Ohger. It would be Swamp Sentai Shrek-Ohger.
Yeah. Donkey Ohsama.
Kamen Rider Ultraman. Okay.
The thing too is I would like to see crossovers of like established things, like because speaking of Ultraman, we have the Ultraman Avengers comic book crossover that will be coming out from Marvel.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, Kyle, that's after the Mystery of Ultra 7. They have nothing. Like the next thing they have slated is Ultraman crossing over with Avengers. It's going to be Kyle and Matt writing it.
Nice.
People always forget
nice.
Matt has been writing all these Ultraman comics as well.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a good one. And I was like, I would be okay if it wasn't even a show if they did comic book crossovers. Like, update from last episode. I read all the 01 comics, all 4 of them. Working on a video.
Okay.
I don't like. I have this rule where I won't make videos on things that are negative that I don't like. I like to talk about things I do like, but this will be one of the first times I'm making a full video about something negative. I haven't done it since Miles Morales. What if Miles Morales was Thor? That's the only other time I made a negative video. And it's bad, but like the potential is if Titan does have the rights to do a lot of Kamen Rider stuff for a comic book standpoint, I'm like, give me some crossovers there. Like maybe do an IDW could get a Kamen Rider crossed over with Transformers where, you know, if it was hypothetically 01, his motorcycle is a Transformer. Like there's like, I would like to see crossovers in that form of media form, not shows. And then you could still do merch form. Because I just want to buy merch. I don't want to watch like weird.
It's possible. I mean, like earlier today when I was buying the Super Mario movie, I didn't know that DC had a crossover between Ruby and like the anime Ruby and like the Justice League. I was like, what?
DC went through a phase where they were just doing crossovers with everything. Like Fortnite in the comics, they were doing Ruby. They just cross over with anything.
Real quick, we got a super chat from Jam Cal saying, Kamen Rider Catch. It's Chris Hansen. Why don't you take a seat?
Have a seat over there.
Have a seat right here. Now, did you bring these Doritos and cookies for yourself?
Fun fact: a firefighter they caught was from the next town over. Who my uncle, my cousin, my dad, everything knew him, and I'm just like, what?
Thing is, to catch a predator, like I don't think that's even a show anymore. But I'm like thinking more of like
it's called
catfishing as well. Like if they do a Kamen Rider Catfish and it's Neve from Catfish, and he's just like he pulls out the driver, and it's literally like, all right, let's do a reverse Google image search to find out.
I thought you meant like actual catfish, like with like some hush puppies and like some.
Yeah, I feel like the reveal is like when they meet each other at the door, they de-hunching and they're like, "Oh, you're not the person I've been chatting to online."
Let's see.
I was gonna make a Cosby Show Kamen Rider crossover, but then I changed my mind.
Oh, you can't do that nowadays.
No.
You can do a Kamen Rider sister, Kamen Rider Urkel.
Well, like the different gimmicks where we have different like Jello pudding cups.
Oh yeah. That missed opportunity right there. Oh well.
This sister. The jingle would just be "Go Home, Marcus" on loop.
Kamen Rider Cousin Skeeter. I'm dipping into the Nickelodeon well now.
If we go on the Nickelodeon well, like listen, Doug is top of the list. Okay.
Quail Man, Kamen Rider Quail Man. There it is.
He's basically like, I mean, would the underwear or the belt be the gimmicks?
He just pulls on a full on, just pulls on the underwear. Kamen Rider Fresh Prince. I don't know. Will Smith still have a career after that slap? Because that's still a thing.
Yeah, because he's got they're still fat. They're still
antagonist is going to be Chris Rock.
Yeah, because they're still doing Aladdin 2, and they're still doing the prequel movie called Genies. That's still slated in pre-production.
Oh. Kamen Rider 2.5 Men. Wow. That's a show I wasn't expecting to get referenced, but okay.
No, we're missing the best crossover, Toxic Avenger.
So, someone said Beverly Hills 90210. How about Beverly Hills Cop?
I was gonna say,
yeah,
or another 48 Hours. I mean, it's still Eddie Murphy. Great franchises. Isn't there another one coming out for Beverly Hills Cop or 48 Hours? One of those ones is getting a sequel.
I thought they were talking about Beverly Hills Cop getting another one. So,
because another 48 Hours, that was the one with Nick Nolte, wasn't it? Or was that Beverly Hills Cop? I know one of them had Nick Nolte and he was just off the rails, and I'm like, love that guy. Yes, Toxic Avenger. It's already there. He has a whole team. Sergeant Kabuki Man could be in there as a freaking. Okay, that's kind of racist.
Kamen Rider Golden Girls. I don't think there's any left. There's none left. What are you talking about?
They got Morbid Fat. No, because James Gunn also did work for Trauma, and he did do some of the earlier stuff like that. I mean, it's already writing itself. James Gunn could do a Toxic Avenger Kamen Rider. I'll just tweet him every day until he blocks me
Hawaii
about
5-0. There's like so much like Western properties that we
There
could like
is.
dig into.
You
Like,
know, I'm
they're
also
really-
realizing outside of Power Rangers, I'm surprised no one's taken another stab at like a Japanese tokusatsu inspired like show out here, like original show. I'm surprised. Like, you don't have to make a Power Rangers. You don't need to take an existing IP. Like with the filming styles and this and that, I'm just shocked no one has tried to make an American tokusatsu show.
Yeah, I mean, the closest that we've gotten is technically like all the CW verse shows that.
Those are still comic book superheroes, and they're already like existing
Yeah.
IPs. So like,
Yeah, so that's the thing. It's like if they just
adapt.
do original heroes that are like done in that same sense, then maybe it could work. Especially since we as fans wouldn't rely on the source material to point out like all the issues that they're currently doing.
Yeah.
Then it could work.
Because I think there's like, because like, let's face it, we have Power Rangers and that's it. And nothing against the team that works on Power Rangers, mainly because if anyone's seen my Twitter lately, I'm going to get Pookie on the podcast. I don't care how many tweets it takes. He's coming on my podcast, and I'm going to have him rank all the Stanley Kubrick films by best to worst because he's a fan. I want to know. But like, there's no other competition for it. And I don't feel like it's that big of a competition to go up against, honestly. Now, I would go up against the Power Ranger comic book, unless I wasn't writing for the Massive Verse. But from a live action Western tokusatsu style show, there's nothing to compete with Power Rangers. And honestly, like, I feel like with a proper budget and some sort of like reading comprehension level, you can compete easily.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing in the West to properly compete with Power Rangers in that sense. And
no one's trying either.
I don't know why they aren't trying to do it. But then again, I feel like a lot of people are just rehashing on pre-established IPs as opposed to having an original thought process.
That, and I think they also they see the numbers for Power Rangers in the sales, because like if you like for new stuff, not like, you know, the Lightning Collector stuff, it's like they probably like look at the numbers, like, is it worth it to try? Like, like that's not really a return on investment, but it's like you could. Guyver, listen, we had Guyver, but that wasn't nothing against Mark Hamill and his magnificent mustache. And the fact in the sequel we had the voice actor for Michelangelo from the live action TMNT playing a villain, which was amazing. The Guyver was better as an anime.
I watched a little bit of the Guyver anime. It was okay.
Yeah. Guyver was just bloody, and that's why everyone's like, oh my god, what is this? Is cool. And then it's like, you go watch it, it's like, okay, some of the stuff was ass. Like, it wasn't the best.
Bloody doesn't always equal cool.
Unless it's Shin Kamen Rider.
Yeah, unless it's Shin Kamen Rider, which I've yet to see. But those trailers with that blood shots, pretty cool.
Yeah.
I might anger the chat with this comment in terms of what Kamen Rider franchise, but I'm thinking Kamen Rider Fanboy and Chum Chum. Such a bad cartoon.
Bible Man. Yes.
We watched that on Toku Rewind back in the day. I still have like an episode on my hard drive. Good old Bible Man revival. Let's do that.
Someone said, what's the original Kamen Rider idea?
Original Toku idea? I don't know. Like, I would have to like see what would work in terms of a concept, and go from there in terms of how I would want like the themes to be titular hero. The thing is like, I wouldn't personally want a squadron. I would want like a singular hero to be like the key focus point, because that allows for a lot more character dynamic in terms of depth and storytelling, which is something that I feel we're currently lacking in some of the Toku scenes, especially when it comes to Kamen Rider, where we have more writers than we have time to write them and like really flesh them out within the span of less than 50 episodes. So I would be like, yeah, let's do a single titular hero and then go from there, and then trying to come up with a concept on the spot is a little hard, but I would say that would be like the initial path that I would want to go, is just with a singular hero as my star, and then working my way around that in terms of how the world works, the world building, the lore of the world, and things like that. So, but
I
yeah,
would do
I
the
don't know.
plot from Geats that wasn't actually done, and I would do alien invasion. Simple.
No, okay.
I mean, it's I like alien invasion stuff. Like I would be like, hey, J.J. Abrams, like I want to make an American tokusatsu style movie or show. It's like, let me put it in the Cloverfield universe, because you're basically just taking any film now and making it a Cloverfield one.
Nowadays, yeah.
And I'll get Fred Flintstone in it.
Well, that's completely out of nowhere.
I always forget his name, even though he's like a big actor, and he was in the 10 Cloverfield Lane, and I just call him Fred Flintstone whenever I forget his name.
God, yeah, I just had the name in my head as well, because he was also in one of the greatest movies of all time, Speed Racer.
Yeah,
playing the dad.
That literally is probably one of the best. Like
Goodman, John Goodman.
John Goodman, yes.
Okay,
John Goodman.
There it is. Okay. Yeah, that could work. Is he still doing shit? I haven't seen him do.
Oh no,
anything.
He does a lot.
He was
He's
in
done a
like
few
New
shows.
Godzilla.
Yeah, he was in Kong.
Kong Skull Island.
Skull Island. I assume he may be in the MonsterVerse show for Apple TV Plus, because it's going over the creation of Monarch, and he's technically one of the founders of Monarch in Kong.
Is that
Skull
the
Island.
anime?
No, they're doing
What's
a live
John
action
Goodman in?
MonsterVerse.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, Apple got the rights to the MonsterVerse for a TV show, so we're getting Godzilla vs. Kong Part 2 live action. Then we're getting a live action Monarch TV show for Apple TV.
Okay, so John Goodman's still in stuff. I mean, he was
Kamen Rider America's Funniest Home Videos. Too bad. R.I.P. Bob Saget.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kamen Rider Saget. Like that would be great.
Honestly,
given all the TMNT crossovers, like because they have TMNT crossing where like Stranger Things, Street Fighter, Power Rangers, like I wouldn't mind seeing like Kamen Rider crossover like Tekken. Because I mean, we are getting. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw for Spider-Man 2 announcement, we actually got labeled Tokusatsu suit for.
Oh yeah.
I saw that. I saw that,
and I was like,
they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. I was just like, you're not gonna get my money yet. I still have to beat the first game.
I'm still mad that the collector's edition doesn't even come with a physical copy of the game.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's dumb. Yeah, I didn't look at it.
Yeah, they've been doing that for a while.
And that statue looks so good.
That's why I didn't get like the God of War special edition, even though it came with the hammer, because it was like digital only.
I'm sorry, like I need to get a bigger VME hard drive to put in my PlayStation 5 before I get any more digital games. I'm surprised Diablo 4
I
was
just
only
need
like
to get a
50
VME
gigs.
in general for my PS5 because
they've been going on sale. If you tell me what size you want, and I'll let you know when they go on sale.
Just installing like all the stuff for Final Fantasy VII Remake like killed that hard drive. Like the hard drive the PS5 comes in. Yeah. When they announced it's 2 discs, I'm just like, well, maybe that saves me from having to download excessive.
It's still good to install it on there though. So it's still good to install a good portion. Speaking of, Shin Godzilla is officially downloadable in Shin Kamen Rider Rumble SD, the game on Switch. I actually finished it. I played it again. I started playing like the EVA levels and everything else. This game is so much fun. It reminds me of the 3DS games they were releasing, like the side-scrolling ones a bit, but this is more beat 'em up, like the X-Aid game that came out on 3DS, and I think Forza got one too on the DS.
Yeah, it was a continuation of O's had the first one.
Yeah,
because I have that one, and then they continued that.
Yeah, I have had fun playing it. Like I enjoyed Memory Heroes and Climax Scramble, which was for what it was, but like. This is the most fun I've had playing a Kamen Rider game since those 3DS ones and DS ones. And I'm like, it's definitely worth picking up. And to anyone who gets the English one, Singapore and I believe Taiwan still don't have eShop stores on the Switch. So you have to make a Hong Kong account to redeem your codes and get the DLC.
I'd say I'd import it from PlayAsia, but they still haven't shipped off. They finally shipped off my Mega Man and Final Fantasy collection, but it hasn't arrived yet.
They take forever to ship stuff. I ordered something a while ago because I'm missing one more copy of the Summon Ride because I don't have it for the PlayStation 3. I only have it for the Wii U, and I was like, I need it to add to the collection because I'm a completionist. I have a lot, and I'm going to start doing Toku video games like videos, like going over my collection and like playing the games because I have my Retron with in my adapter so I can play some of those. So I was like, I don't have this for the collection. I'm missing less games than I actually have in my collection now before I have everything. And that's including all Toku because they did a lot of those crossovers with like Ultraman and like Godzilla and this and that playing like soccer or and stuff like that. And I was like, I found so many of those. No Kamen Rider Benson and Stabler. The jingle's just dun dun.
I need to watch all of Power Rangers RPM. I don't know, maybe someday.
No.
I keep being told it's good.
Law and Order would work for SVU because right at the end it would be like presented by Dick Wolf. Or produced by Dick Wolf.
Yeah, it's executive producer Dick Wolf. It's like every time you transform, it's just like the dun dun, and that's it.
So anime stuff, Master Hero for crossovers, like I don't know, like I never really like anime crossing over with anything, honestly. I like to keep that medium like separate from everything else. I'm okay if we get like anime adaptations. Like I'm still hoping. I'm just shocked Super Sentai and Kamen Rider and haven't had anime stuff. We've had Ultraman had a cartoon series.
Kamen Rider had a Kamen series back in the day. It was like a little chibi thing.
Yeah, and it's like that. I feel like from a production standpoint, that's not. Yeah, we got Food OPI, but that was Food OPI. Like that's there's a reason why Crunchyroll hasn't talked about it, and we never got any numbers or analytics or statistics from that anime because I guarantee you, no one freaking watched it.
No, it was a hard in. It was a hard in for folks. You had to have known the source material before watching it.
I didn't hype it up to a lot of people that I know that don't know Kamen Rider but love anime. I just told them, hey, like I like Kamen Rider. This might work for you, but it's a sequel. And they're like, oh, can I find the show? It's like, no, not legally.
Exactly. Raph mentioned a certain Kamen Rider that's my original idea. Do not steal that.
Garo has a lot. And I'm mad the Garo anime, they split up the Blu-rays into so many parts. And I was just like, really? On Blu-ray? Like, you can't put them on one disc? Like, you can't. You got to give me 5 discs for one season?
Once we started getting into, like, the Garo anime of it all, like, I was really starting to get confused with the timeline of events for Garo until they explained that it is a multiverse as well. Yeah, and I was just like, I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of multiverses and
I have a Garo folder I could put in a place. And it's main folder Garo in between it, just numbered with the names. And I have them actually all organized in chronological order for the universe itself. Because even though some stuff is multiversal and this and that, there's still callbacks. Kind of like Ultraman, where you're like, yeah, you can pick up and watch any season you want. But you won't get all the references because I don't like that they went that route, but I do like that it's very isolated. Like Victory Road is still one of my favorites.
Well, the thing that I just have an issue with the Garo franchise in general is like you don't have to make it about Garo. They have a whole lore based here that they could literally make a season focused on a different Makai Knight and just say that it happens within the Garo universe or at least a main universe, and it could still work. But I have a whole tangent when it comes to Garo.
Oh no, I have the same, but at the same time, like I'll still freaking watch it and love it though. Like I still. Speaking of Knights of the Zodiac, is coming out on Blu-ray the same day as Shin Ultraman in July.
Have you seen it?
Really state. Yes, I did.
Is it good?
All right. Not gonna spoil.
Oh no, Ash is gone.
I know. I saw the little like speech thing, and then I'm not gonna spoil it. The newest Mortal Kombat film was like a prequel.
It's because you said you're not gonna spoil it, and then like it was like, nah,
did
bro.
The stream die? I just got back from pay break and it died.
Well, you died, and then like I guess when you came back, we all died.
Oh
yeah, I just went for a pay break. What the heck?
That's what happens.
The stream was too strong, and it broke this stream.
Kamen Rider Toilet got you.
Toilet got me. Yeah. Toilet killed me.
So you know how the newest Mortal Kombat film that came out was kind of like a prequel to Mortal Kombat, like character building and this that. That's what this is. But the thing is, poor timing of release in theaters. No one was going to go see it because all the other movies were out at the time. But it's good for what it was. I like some of the character development we got from it. It's just not. It's a prequel, It's building up. It's introducing characters. I think there was some imbalances to certain characters getting shown more than others, but if it does get a sequel, the sequel will be really good. I think the sequel, because enough of the long drawn out talking, the action sequences looked great from like fight choreograph and this and that. Some of the CG was wonky, but it served its purpose. Hopefully it gets a second film, but it is coming out on Blu-ray the same, I think, because Ultraman is July 11th. I think it's coming out July 12th on Blu-ray.
Okay.
So same day.
And I will be buying both.
It'll be a $17 Blu-ray. Also, Shin Ultraman is on sale on Amazon right now for the Blu-ray. It's down from $25 to $17 if no one has pre-ordered it, because pre-order price guaranteed.
Watch when Ash comes back. It kills the stream again.
Right.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
It's like so excited.
Anyway, we're pretty much closing out the stream essentially in terms of what we had going on. So obviously we had the superhero time, which we're real quick, Mark. What were your thoughts on Geats since you weren't here for that portion of it?
Okay, so my only complaint was the fact that once again, how the arcs are split up, and I'm 100% on board with the fact that a lot of the plot points that all the seed, there's so many seeds that were planted that aren't going to pan out at all. And I'm tired of, just like with Boost Mark 2, we got it, but then we got Laser Boost. And it's like, okay, we got Mark 3, and it wasn't even a full episode. We didn't even get one full fight with it.
Nope.
And then it was like,
just
here's Mark 9. Yeah, and I'm just like, why? Like, how are you going to waste all this time on these delicious suit designs and just throw them away? Like, not even use them. And I'm just like, this is... And like the Kawa stuff, I'm like, okay, like I don't know what the next arc is going to be because I don't like read ahead of time. I have to take out what's already presented to us because there could be misdirection, obviously, in the previous. And I'm just like, this show, first 16 episodes, amazing. Then a lull period. Then it was like, 2-episode arcs, and sometimes they're good, but it's like every time I think I'm going to get some story and some development for someone else, Ace is there.
Yep.
And it's the point where I'm like, yes, it's Kamen Rider Geats, but like I'm starting to not care about any of these people. Like Michinaga, I was like, okay, he had potential to be a really good antagonist, like an equal to Ace. And then it's like when you think they're finally gonna show off, no, let's do a buddy cop team up and go after the DGP. And it's like, no, Buffa, you punch him in his freaking smug face. And then you tell him you're gonna win again, and you're gonna make his mommy do weird wishes for you. Like, and it's just so like so many other characters, and like every time like Gene comes back, I'm like boring. And anything that's gonna happen with like Kekura, I'm like, well, that's been so long that I'm like, I don't even care about him anymore. And Robe, I'm like, you're not even supporting anybody. Like, why is that lollipop so big?
Exactly. Why does it need to be that large? Why did Geats go into his mom? Like, there's so many questions.
Yeah, like it also like. I think there's a part thing where I brought up like we're talking about his mom who has this latent ability to grant wishes, but like his dad was a Desiety. Like that's that's before they had cool tech and like this and that, and before they could even henshin. So I'm like, he must have been like, was he Kratos? Like he beating people up? Like I want to know, was he from like Assassin's Creed Odyssey? Like who is? And I'm just like, you don't know your mom, but you don't know your dad either. Like kind of
he just gave you a coin that finds a way to find you every time. No idea.
And then Niram, obviously, I was like, I felt like that was anticlimactic. Like, and also I was like, oh man, she brought the heat. Like, Sama's has had like a piece on her the whole time. And I get why, because they have to abide by the rules of the current time they're in. But I'm just like I thought we were gonna get like, I think it could have been more impactful with Niram dying. Honestly, like. I wanted to see like him being like, oh no. And there's like a montage of all the delicious food he ate, like that sushi hand roll, the noodles, the escargot.
I did just find it to be like a weird cut when they show him getting shot, and then all of a sudden it just like goes to like his face, but he's like got no reaction. I'm just like, that cut just seems very weird because he's going from like to, and it's like, what? You know for a fact you got shot. We saw you getting shot, and now you're just like in a disbelief phase. It just doesn't make sense. And once again, like they brought this man back just to kill him, and Samus should have technically gotten that promotion like when he died the first time.
Yeah, that's why I was just like, he was already gone and then brought back. Like, so no one
And
took
you
over when
can't
he
say
was
you
gone.
bring him back to get the Vision Driver, because we know that like Niram was probably more than capable of getting those Vision Drivers himself if he actually tried.
Yeah,
So yeah, Geats is definitely in a point right now where we're just like, I hope you get better. Really get well soon.
yeah. I
I'm
don't
I'm
know.
a,
Like,
I'm a, I'm gonna send a letter to Ace's mom, all the rubble on the ground that just says get well soon, and just see.
right.
Hopefully she recovers from that.
Like, I got some hate
Feel
because
better.
I said that, compared to other shows like Zero One and Saber, especially, they had rewrites due to filming constraints with things going on in the world, and Revice is just Revice. But I was like, to say, like, as far as I know, there's nothing stopping filming, no health issues spreading throughout countries. So that means these seeds that were planted as that were just that's lazy in my opinion compared to having to on the fly rewrite stuff because an actor or an actress is sick. Oh no, let's just say they're now kidnapped for 12 episodes.
Yeah.
So now I'm just like, I gave the asterisk to Zero One and Saber for my reviews of them because I was like, issues in the world, I understand completely. I can't put an asterisk next to Geats if when it ends there's a whole bunch of plot holes and stuff that wasn't followed up on. Then I'm like, listen, that's just bad writing.
Oh no, absolutely. Like all the setups for it to not get a proper payoff unless they start going the route of like, here's a Toei Tokusatsu fan club special for this and that and that and that. And I'm like, stop. At that point, you're just giving Takahashi more work when he should have cooked this first time and not left so many things to be like on the offset. This isn't like a Down Brothers situation where I want some Toei Tokusatsu fan club things to come out of it because it was peak. It's just like if you needed to literally address all the plot holes that you just made within your own show, then I'm sorry, you fucked up your base show. So
basically.
So anyway, that's pretty much going to be it for tonight's stream because I got to get some rest because I got to go to the airport yet again, just like last week. So Ash, where can people find you at?
You can find me over at Deoxy360 on the YouTubes, the Twitters, and the social medias and stuff like that. Just not a lot of Power Ranger comics until the end of the month, to be honest. Don't know what I'm gonna do. Yeah.
Play more Diablo 4.
Play more Diablo 4. Yeah. And try and finish Tears of the Kingdom eventually.
You got to.
I got to.
Yep.
But yeah, you can find me over on those social medias.
All right. And Mark, where can people find you at?
Under name Mark on everything, all the socials and YouTube. I'm so far behind on content right now because work is just crazy. I have the 01 comic video I'm working on. I've got part 3 of my Into the Massiverse that I'm doing. I am not doing a Shin Kamen Rider spoiler video yet. Like I said in my non-spoiler review, I will eventually do it, but I just don't. I wasn't feeling like doing a spoiler video. I don't know. I didn't want to film it. I was tired. And I got a lot of manga stuff I got to do. Like I still got to talk about the Kuga Volume 3 manga and going into 4, which is coming out in another month. And going to be trying to do some Toku adjacent stuff, which is why I was hinting at like video games, comics, manga, Toku inspired stuff. Because you start to see how much stuff is inspired by Toku that people keep calling Toku, even though it's not, because it's not live action and it's not a TV show or a movie. And that's the hill I will die on.
Yeah, I remember when Tatsunoko versus Capcom came out and everybody was like, it's Power Rangers. I'm like, no, it's literally Henshin Heroes. It's the era of the time. It's definitely very like how Tokusatsu was in the 70s. So were a lot of hero shows in the 70s. Very like similar origins.
Yeah.
So
that's it.
All right. And the video I'm going to plug for myself is if you have not seen my YouTube short of the Saber theme, superimposed with the Reading Rainbow theme song, you need to go watch that because it fits so well.
It does.
And also introducing Kamen Rider LaForge, LeVar. It fits. It fits.
It does.
It fits with the Saber theme, starring LeVar Burton. I was just like, yeah, we did a whole bit during Toku Rewind where we replaced the opening of the show with a random one. I was like, Reading Rainbow. Reading Rainbow is gonna replace Saber, and it was fitting so well that I was like, I gotta make a short out of it. So hey, that's it. So if you've not checked that out, go check that out. Anyway, that's it from us. We will see you all next week. Until then, bye.
Bye.